This is WeBurlesque. The following episode of the Movies That Made We Sing and Dance may feature spoilers to the footage of those films contained. I don't know how to avoid that. Enjoy! This is the Movies That Made We, and I'm your host, Viktor Devonne, and I'm going to talk to nightlife individuals in the field of burlesque about the movie musical adaptations that were formative and encourage and inspire them still. I'm very excited to have Mone't Ha-Sidi, Curly Bright, and Ginger Snaps on the line. And we're going to kick things off with a little icebreaker question by discussing what movie musical would we love to have an adaptation, therefore, of. Would you like to lead us off with what musical adaptation you would like to see?
Absolutely, and I am gonna make some people angry. All right, let's go. So this is not the part that's gonna make people angry, but my adaptation would be the SpongeBob musical. Now, Nickelodeon did release a filmed live show of SpongeBob the musical, stage production, featuring the original Broadway cast and Tom Kenny as Patchy the Pirate. He has a fantastic number in the right after the intermission. But I feel like Nickelodeon missed a trick where they really should have animated it as the cartoon. Like they can keep the voice actors for the speaking roles, but they could keep the musical actors for the singing parts. And it would work so well because it has the chaotic energy where everything feels like a different genre. I It fits so well. Like every single song in the musical was written by a different artist. There's a song called No Control that's written by David Bowie that actually sounds very like 2020, feeling like the apocalypse is coming. That was very relevant when I was watching it during quarantine. There's a song by Plain White Tees. There's a song by Cyndi Lauper. There's a song by John Legend. There are songs by so many people. I think the opening Bikini Bottom Day was written by Jonathan Colton. They got a lot of people to work on this. It's amazing, and I would love to see it animated as a full cartoon. And that would probably be the only way to get me to watch Ethan Slater again, because his breakout Broadway role was SpongeBob, and I absolutely love him as SpongeBob. I was obsessed with him as SpongeBob, like the way that he moved his body, his physicality, because he also has a background in wrestling. So very strong. He was doing a lot of acrobatics, and as SpongeBob, you got to be kind of wibbly wobbly. He was perfect in that. And then the Wicked movies came out, and then I found out that he left his wife and child for Ariana Grande while they were filming the movies, and now I refuse to touch the Wicked movies. So, Wicked was almost part of my top five because I got really, really into it when I was in high school. Like, I watched it live. I think I watched it on the West End in London. I read the books by Gregory Maguire, Wicked, Son of a Witch, Lion Among Men, and also like Gregory Maguire does a lot of different adaptations. I read his adaptation on Snow White called Mirror Mirror, which is set in like 16th century Italy, where the evil family are the Borgias, and Lucretia Borgia is the evil queen, and she's jealous because Cesare is interested in Snow White. That's the whole thing. I really love the books and I love the musical. I just I cannot bring myself to watch the new movies. I can't do it. Like Ethan Slater really pissed me off. Like Ariana Grande has a history of kind of like hopping from partner to partner and stuff. Like that's
There's a
nothing
history of a lot
new.
of things.
Yeah, but Ethan Slater never had a history with that. He had
Oh,
a wife, he had a baby, and he left. His wife like published, like I think it was a blog post where she was like lamenting how it was physically painful for her to look at all of the promo for Wicked. Now, granted, Ethan Slater played Bach. He wasn't in any of the promos, but he's in the movie. And
hmm.
like it was a huge like blow to his ex-wife. She did mention towards the end of that blog post that he's at least still there for the kid. So, well, we'll take the dub on that, but still, I'm just like hella disappointed that one of my favorite people ever who I discovered on the SpongeBob musical is that kind of guy, you know?
We might know too much about famous people. We might know too
Yeah,
much.
Well, and like I've witnessed
unfortunately.
relationships where like sometimes just shit happens and you don't know the whole
Yes.
story about it. Like I've been
Yes.
involved in productions where I saw two actors, one of which who was engaged with a child, meet another actor, and you could practically see their little lovey eyeballs like shoot out of their head and hearts explode everywhere. And it just feels like this, it's like a thing you can't stop. And I'm not saying that was the case, but I'm saying like relationships are messy and weird and you don't know the backstories. And like,
But if it's still
I
too
try
fresh for
not
you,
to.
Curly, don't push yourself. It's all right.
I just like,
It still
I
sucks.
try not to like read too much into it without knowing, you know? But like
Yeah.
any relationship where you
Yeah.
can steal someone away from a wife and child was not a stable relationship to start with.
We can only hope.
Like hopefully it's better off for both partners involved.
Mone't Ha-Sidi, why don't you share with us what your answer to this prompt is?
I'm going to change my answer only
Oh my
because,
God.
yeah, we need to actually just do a podcast dedicated to the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, that's
Agreed.
fair.
Doesn't that
That's fair.
exist somewhere?
There's a couple, but not necessarily with our perspectives.
Yes. Okay.
And
The
So,
Rocky that made we.
yes.
Kind
It's
of.
like half the community.
Oh my Lord.
Yes.
So I'm going to change
You're gonna make me have
that
another job. Yes,
the
go ahead.
movie Burlesque actually gets remade to actually be burlesque.
I have thoughts. I have thoughts.
So we need to have pasties. We need to show the reality that we don't have our own backstage and our own vanities, that there's a club that just exists just for you to perform burlesque, that we're meant to believe that Christina Aguilera's character was making more money doing the burlesque than she was serving the drinks.
Hot lies.
So I feel like we should have a burlesque needs to be remade with actual burlesque. I want to see titties and kitties.
I agree, but I also love the movie Burlesque.
I mean, it's not that I hate it. I saw it when
No,
it came out. I own it on DVD. I'll watch that shit.
I just
But
watched it again 2 days ago.
Yeah, I can agree that what they're showing is not traditional burlesque. I can also feel like, oh, I like this movie.
Well, like
the
the
weird
fantasy
part,
of it is really fun.
the weird part of it too is that like when that happened, a lot of us started getting booked for burlesque and not realizing when we start taking our clothes off that that's what happened. And then on top of that, the amount of like junior dance teams started using the songs from the soundtrack as part of their routines. Like I was getting Cold Stone ice cream and explaining I'm doing burlesque, and the girl was like, "Oh yeah, my like junior high dance team used to dance to songs from that movie," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Well, hopefully it was a Cher song, even though that song is very depression. And also, like, what part of the show was that song going to fit in that she was practicing? Because it was such a Debbie Downer situation.
Yes.
And where did it fit in the whole storyline of what was happening? And that part was very nonsensical, in addition to all the other nonsensical, rest in peace, Eric Dane. But, like, all of that, I just want a real burlesque. But unfortunately, we all know that the closest to our real life burlesque experience is the movie Showgirls. And that deserves its own podcast episode too.
Okay, but what if Showgirls was a musical? That would be fucking baller.
And it was already a musical.
I I gotta share this. My partner told me that they had a party and invited a bunch of their coworkers and also some regulars at the shop that they work at. And they were speaking with one of the regulars who attended the party, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, I don't really like nerdlesque. I know that you said that your partner does nerdlesque," because they mentioned me. They're like, "No, I kind of like the traditional, the classic burlesque, like the Christina Aguilera movie." And I just went, "Okay, okay, I'm so glad I was not at that party. I love that. Also, like, Cher, like, You Haven't Seen the Last of Me. I love that song so
Yeah.
much.
I want to
But,
do a routine to it. I want to do a Cher
oh,
act. Like, it's just going to be the saddest. Oh my God, I should do it as Eeyore.
oh my God.
Because Eeyore is so sad. Oh my God. Okay. I'm a pin that in my brain.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
We are going to rewind back to this episode and we'll be like, see, there, that's
See,
where it
there
came
was.
from.
There was. Yeah, the burlesque movie. So again, I also saw it. I saw it on Black Friday, actually. I saw it the day it came out.
Well, I got to be black.
And
Sorry.
and I have to say it is A Star is Born. That's really what it is. It's small town girl becomes famous. Oh, by the way, here's the setting. It's not dissimilar to even uh Phantom in that regard, where it's just, ingenue makes good and suddenly is the lead. There's a lot of other stuff in it that's complicated. I'm and I understand, since they did make a stage musical of it, and it was in the UK, and we actually had one of our own, Jake Dupree, as one of the ensemble pieces and featured dancers. That for a lot of folks, that indication was that Jake Dupree, was the only one doing actual burlesque in that stage show, which was startling. I mean, you want good burlesque, we talk Jake Dupree, but it's a musical set. You can do shit. You go ahead. So like, give us just a little something. So even that
That
evidently
was the
did
actual
not.
tease of it.
Yeah. So even with, and I don't know. I feel that there's missed opportunities. I maintain that burlesque, the finished product, is a fifth to sixth generation of that script. I would love to see what the original first two were, because I bet it was like Cruising. I bet it was gritty and grimy, and I bet it was great. That's what I think. That's my guess.
I mean,
But
the wigs were pretty good.
Oh my
Ridiculous,
God.
but good.
Christina
aesthetically,
Aguilera looked beautiful. Like, that's the most beautiful I think that she'd ever looked.
Dude, yeah. She
Oscars for
had on enough hair for
cinematography.
10
Sure,
people.
sure, sure.
That
Sure, sure,
scene with the
sure.
green dress. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Which is, I
Yes.
think, like, there's actually at least some of her own hair in there. Like, I think she's wearing a fall, but a lot of that's actually her hair. And I'm like, fucking finally, take, like, the Shetland pony off of her head.
Yeah. Yeah. She looks stunning in that movie.
Yeah.
Ginger Snaps, what is your answer to this prompt?
Oh, mine is that I would like to see a new La Cage aux Folles. Yes, I know there was one in the late 70s, which like didn't get a ton of traction. I feel I feel like it was missing some relatability. And then you have the Birdcage, which of course was the story of La Cage aux Folles, but done as a movie. And that is like just such a significant part of our culture and like theatrical culture and queer culture, and there's so much great stuff in there. And so I would love to see a new La Cage aux Folles that has some of both of those things in it, but actually brings back the musical, like the songs from the musical, and is true to that, but still incorporates a lot of the fun and character that we got in the Birdcage. And also, I still want Nathan Lane and Hank Azaria.
It is funny because it's a love story. It's a gay love story, and it's a gay men of a certain age love
Yes.
story. And I think the older that those characters play, or the older actors that you get for that, would actually really cement some of the longevity of that storyline. I think it's in such a youth obsessed culture, and also a situation where we sort of view gay men as young, and particularly since those people, those depictions in that musical was written, during the AIDS crisis, um, would show survival, and I like that. I would love that. I'm all for that. I did see La Cage on Broadway with Daniel Davis from The Nanny. And it was good. It was very good. But it was I have a feeling if they were to make an adaptation of it, they probably would add a couple extra songs. Maybe they would Chicagoize it, just make it a little bit more vamp and a little bit more. That's
Mm.
what they would do. Show me how you burlesque. There we go. That's how.
I mean, I think like people that are typically consider themselves not musical people, they kind of need that candy to still be pulled in.
Yeah.
You know, they need like the flashier stuff, the bigger stuff, the things that are still going to be appealing to them, even if they aren't comfortable in the world of musicals.
Well, throw in some drag staples too. If you're going to use the actual Jerry Herman score, because the music is good. It's Jerry Herman who did Mame, which had a abysmal adaptation. Hello Dolly, which has a very polarizing adaptation. Um, Throw in some drag staples. Throw in some disco in addition to it. Show some numbers. Yeah, I'm for it.
Oh my God. I have to
I
tell you my favorite story about Inappropriate Disco, though, because it
Okay.
is like a movie it's a musical movie, but it's not from a musical, but in the Blues Brothers,
Mm.
which is a formative movie to me, but also not really a musical, but it could be. Anyway, that's a whole other tangent. But my favorite part about this, because I went through a period in high school where I was just obsessed with this movie and like learned everything about it. But apparently, when they went to Cab Calloway and they're like, "Hey, we'd really like you to do Minnie the Moocher for this show." This is at the time when every like disco was getting really popular. It was late 70s, and this motherfucker wanted to do a disco version of Minnie the Moocher. And they had to be like they were like, "Oh God, sweetie, no, this is absolutely not what we're looking for. Like, we really want the classic."
So
But he's like,
Cab
"No,
wanted
I'm
to
cool.
do
I'm with
Cab
it."
wanted to do the disco.
Yes.
I wanna
love
hear that.
shit.
I
I
wanna
love
hear
that
that.
shit. I unironically like the Ethel Merman disco album, so I could give a fuck. I mean, I'm all for it. I am
Yeah, like
all
I want to
for
know if
it.
there is a recording of Disco Minnie the Moocher somewhere because I am
Yes!
so curious.
I think
I
we
wanna
deserve
hear it.
that. I
We
think we
do.
deserve it. We deserve it. All right, so these are all we're putting into the ether. Let the fates ferment and make good choices and not hire Russell Crowe. Um,
Seriously though.
Hello, hello, kitty cats. I'm Gemma from Tails and Tassels podcast. This is the show where you learn about the lives of burlesque and nightlife performers, their craft, their cats, and the way the two worlds collide. It's a space for cat-loving creatives with thoughtful reflections, backstage stories, and the occasional feline expert in the mix. 2 full seasons are streaming right meow. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Curly Bright, why don't we talk about the actual first film that you would like to talk about?
First, we're going to put a pin. I have a Russell Crowe story. Never mind. Okay.
We're not recording.
That's for later. That's for later. Okay. So I am
This is our
actually going to
Groundhog Day.
start. I'm going to start with the musicals that are less well known because I want to give them their flowers and wax poetic about them before I get into the ones that a lot of people know.
The hits,
All right. And
yeah.
yes, the hits. And I mean, this is kind of a hit in like book and movie style, but I want to talk about Matilda. As you know, book, Roald Dahl, then there's the movie with was it Mara Wilson? Yeah.
Mhm.
And Danny DeVito.
Sexy Danny
very-
DeVito.
Yes. I mean, always. Oh no,
It's-
I can't see him. I can't see him as anything other than the penguin sometimes. Like
That's what made him
Yes.
sexy to me.
Hey,
That's
hey.
the penguin. I'm sorry.
But yes, Matilda. I remember being in London and visiting my aunt because I went to university in the UK. Now I went in the northeast of the UK. I went to Durham University for my undergrad, and then I moved down to London to do my master's degree. But
She's educated, everyone. She's educated.
I have two master's degrees. I'm a nerd. Okay. But I I went to see Matilda on the West End with my aunt. She got tickets for me and her kids. This has to be between like 2010 and 2012. It has to
Mm.
be like within that frame. So I'm still very impressionable. I get in there and I'm just like, I don't even really like the Matilda movie. It gave me the ick factor as a kid. I'm just like, ah. And you know what? Understandable. When you're a little kid and you see something like that, there's a lot of stuff there that can be a bit icky. Um, that's by design. But I go to see the musical, and the first thing I see when I sit down is the stage is full of like wooden blocks with like letters on them, like the children's block toy blocks, but with letters and stuff. And they are all over the stage. They're on the ceiling. They're everywhere. And I'm just like, okay, well, I know this is a kind of a school setting, but everything is wooden blocks. And I'm looking at this like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And then I was reading the playbook before it started. Lyrics by Tim Minchin. I'm like, oh shit, all right. Um, Tim Minchin, very well known for his lyrics and also his, cynicism. But I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. This is Matilda. It's a school setting. I'm looking at this set, and I know that Tim Minchin wrote the
Mhm.
lyrics. And I'm just like, okay, wow, the music is so good, and I was just like transfixed. And then there's one particular song that comes on called the school song. And that is when they bring out the letter blocks. They have the
Mm.
school cage. They close the cage, and the cage has all these square things in them. And then as they start singing, they start putting in the letter blocks. Like you hear it, you're like, oh, those are good lyrics. But then they're like, oh, the alphabet, you better learn to listen. And then they sing the entire thing again. But then you see they're doing the alphabet you didn't know. And so you think you're able to survive this mess by being a prince or a princess. You will soon see there's no escaping tragedy. And then they do that the entire time. And I'm just watching it like, huh? What? How did they do that? Like, the lyrics are incredible. And so, when Netflix released a film version of the Matilda musical in 2020, I jumped on that shit. They actually did really well. There were a couple songs from the stage production that didn't make it into the final of the musical, which fair enough. Things get cut all the time when you take a stage musical into a film adaptation.
It's got a
Um,
lot of songs. It has a huge score.
yeah.
Yeah.
They cut they cut the whole reason why the like Matilda's mother does not want to have her. It's because
Mm.
she's like a professional dancer and all of that, and like she's going to lose competitions and not attend competitions if she's having a baby kind of thing, and she resents Matilda for that. In the stage musical, they completely cut that out for the film adaptation for the musical, which I'm like, fair enough, you pick and choose.
Well, that's
But
also
I
not in the book.
It's
Like
not
that's
in the
all.
no, it's not.
Yeah, that's
It
all
wasn't, but I
completely.
enjoyed that. It's not, but I enjoyed that part of the musical. So I was
Sure.
like, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. But like I remember being like, man, I gotta make my performances that level of clever. I don't know if I can, but like that stuck with me. I was like YouTubing behind the scenes stuff and looking into like all of this. I'm just like, oh my God. Um, but yeah, I could go on about that, but this is another thing like when I mentioned in my honorable mentions for like SpongeBob, I don't really like the cartoon, but I love the musical. Matilda, the movie, it gave me the ick. The musical, absolutely love it.
Mm. Did you go up? Had you ever have you or had you ever read the book?
No, actually, I feel like I should now.
I mean, Roald Dahl. complicated man, product of his time, racist, blah blah blah, unfortunate. He's dead. Um, and while some of his books and some of his art still reflect some of his shitty perspectives, um, they were very formative for me as a child growing up. I grew up loving The Witches, loving James and the Giant Peach, loving, and I didn't know any of that bullshit about his personal life until I was an adult. And obviously his biggest adaptation is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or sorry, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which came up in the last session. So if you're listening to this, check out the first session where I believe Petra Fried discusses Willy Wonka. Matilda, huge, huge moment for me and huge, huge inspiration for me reading as a child, which that was when I read most of my stuff as a child. I don't read anymore. I never do. It's terrible.
I hear that.
I just can't fucking do it. Before we hear from the gallery, potentially about your choice, is there a favorite scene that you love in Matilda the film version?
You mean like the film musical?
The film musical version, yes.
The film musical version. Where the revolting children, the revolting one. I mean that one has been TikTok to hell and back, but like
Gift
for a
over
good
and over
reason.
Again. Yeah.
Revolting children. Yeah, it's so good. Like you see all the kids just singing and dancing through the halls, and it just see, like the camera following Bruce in particular. It's so good. Like I love that scene, the way they did it.
Does anybody have any commentary? We listen and we judge. Does anybody have any Matilda thoughts?
I've actually never seen Matilda.
I've never seen it all the way through.
Oh, what was the deal breaker for you, or did you just not have time?
No, I just like literally never sat down to be like, I'm gonna watch Matilda. Like it was one of those things where I'm just like old enough that it didn't necessarily appeal to my age group when the movie came out with Danny DeVito. And so I just never really got into it, but I've seen like bits and pieces in passing, I guess.
The film, the original, the Danny DeVito, I appreciate for what it did. It was not my jam when it came out. I saw that in theaters and I remember being like, this is bullshit. This is not the book I love. So I was already kind of tainted, but I've softened a bit on it in my old age, and also Rhea Perlman is an icon. So anytime I see her featured, I'm gonna be all for it. I will say also listening to Mara Wilson's memoir, which I recommend. She talks about the making of it and her dealing with her mother's dying and how Danny DeVito was there for her during all of that. I sort of recolored sort of my thought on Matilda as a unsatisfying, in my opinion, adaptation. But I tell you right now, the youth go in on that movie as a favorite. That Hocus Pocus and Newsies. You want to talk, if you want to create a flame war, criticize any of those movies. All right.
Wait, do they I thought it wasn't that well known. Do the younger people love the Matilda musical?
Not the musical, specifically the film. Specifically the 90s film. The 90s film.
Got it.
Where I find that, so I qualify as a cusper, but more millennial than, Z, I guess is what comes after millennial. So I'm 83 and they keep changing what year qualifies. We're a person who took our home video very seriously. Very seriously. Whether it was a Little Princess or Secret Garden or Newsies or any of these things that came in those plastic clam boxes. Yeah.
I still have some of those.
Well, you should. Yeah. All right, Mone't Ha-Sidi, we're going to ask you for your first official submission for your film adaptations.
The Annie from, was it 1983 or 1984, was my first ever favorite movie, and my first encounter with Tim Curry.
Nice.
There was such a lot about that movie I felt with like Annie, especially the scene when she finds Sandy and those like little boys are like fucking with Sandy, and she's all, you better leave that dog alone. And like her little like curly red afro and her putting up her dukes and scaring the dudes. To me, like, because now in retrospect, it makes sense where a lot of my preferences come from. Gingers, scruffy brown dogs, weird bald white men, Danny DeVito, Billy Corgan. Like, this is the
Oliver
reason.
Finney.
Yeah, like because of that movie. But to me, I remember watching it and being so scared when they were chasing her up the bridge and all these things. But the feelings of when I was watching it during my movie Mondays and stuff and looking at it like, you really are going to rent this kid for like a week and then put them back in the orphanage? But let's get started on Miss Hannigan, who seems like she would have been more suited as a brothel madam
Yes.
than running an orphanage. I feel like doing an act as a fabulously body wealthy burlesque performer to little girls would be very relatable because I feel like often in this body, like at Miss Hannigan feels with those little girls. And it was also like, for me, the situation I was in, in life, it's not necessarily wanting to find a man like a daddy Warbucks, but more in finding a love that I didn't have before in the terms of a parental figure or somebody who cares about me. It's just a very interesting film, and importantly, she got the Razzie, and all that stuff. But it's just the movie. I don't know. That was like my first favorite movie. I remember watching it. It had the doll with the little locket on it and everything. And I would watch it like over and over again. I was like, as a kid, I was like, oh my God, I've seen that movie like 50 to 100 times. Because Annie was my first movie love.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been remakes of it, but
Twice.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of remakes, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those remakes. I did get to see it live in person for the first time though, and I loved it. The diversity of the casting. They had a real Sandy dog on their stage that came out a few times. Rooster pulled out a knife though, which I thought was, oh my God, that escalated quickly. But other than that, like Annie will be the first love of cinema for me. And that scene where they're like, let's go to the movies and all that stuff. And I love New York City. And, even the Empire State Building is better than the Chrysler Building, in my opinion. But, you got to shine this thing like the top of the Chrysler Building. Like all those like movements, like just so many things about that movie it just takes me back to that little girl and watching it for the first time.
Very nice.
Was this the
Annie
one with Carol Burnett?
Yeah.
Yes.
This was the Carol Burnett. I can't it's like, oh, it's the Carol Burnett one or like the Kathy Bates one.
Yeah. It's one of those ones, and since you mentioned the Razzies, I'm just going to say it. We've moved past the need for the Razzies, as the Razzies have always aged poorly. If you look back at what has been nominated and or won Razzies, they have no sense of whimsy. Yep. They have no sense of humor, and they're very often misogynistic or queerphobic. It to me, it very much speaks of like the disco sucks era. It's like, how about y'all go fuck yourselves, first of all? Because there are legit bad movies. There are legit like movies that are harmful to our system. Mm-hmm. And those are never the ones that they go for. They go for the lowest possible hanging fruit. And having Aileen Quinn win Worst Supporting Actress, having Jake Lloyd win Best Worst Actor for Phantom Menace, having like we're creating big problems here. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. But that is another movie that I think has gotten sort of a retro fit appreciation over the years. It is now considered a classic. And you got fucking Bernadette Peters. You got fucking Tim Curry. You got fucking Anne Rankin. You got Broadway legends in that film.
Choreography she did. Yes.
Well, that was like one of the last really big like staged movie musicals. Like it was a big fucking deal. It was really well done.
Yeah.
And my favorite scene is A Hard Knocks Life.
Well, there you go.
I mean, the amount of child actors that I recognized from that, like Amanda Peterson, rest in peace, from Can't Buy Me Love, Martika, who was in Kids Incorporated, but just like
Martika's in that?
Martika, yeah, she's in that scene. Yeah.
Toy Soldiers, I Feel the Earth Move,
Toy
Martika?
Soldier, yes.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I've never
And
noticed.
the skills of those girls in that scene is so underrated. Like, the amount of practice they had to do it, and the acrobats of it, and seeing that scene, even seeing it on stage, like, whoever gets seen, like, casted to do that is a very talented individual. And it just, like, that scene is just because it just opens up the world of, like, the musical of Annie, and it shows all the different characters of them, and the dance, and the acrobatics, and just, like, everything. And then they're, like, in their orphanage grungy clothes. Like, to me, that number is going to be, like, my favorites.
Excellent.
And I wish I could tumble, but I could barely do a cartwheel these days. So,
as a foster parent, I want to make our like future foster kids watch that and be like, "Sorry, kids, we ain't rich, but we'll do the fun parts."
Oh my gosh! I'm not gonna say that you look like Miss Hannigan, but I'm not gonna not say it.
We can have days.
It is fun. And again, Carol Burnett, icon, brought musical theater on a weekly basis via her variety show. So what a genius as well. If you don't know that Carol Burnett can legit sing, I encourage you to go to your music platform of choice and check out her traditional pop recordings from the 60s. Spectacular.
Love me some Once Upon a Mattress. Yeah, good
Oh,
stuff.
yes. All right, Ginger Snaps, you're up at the plate.
Trying to decide which one to start with. All right, I'm going to start with one that was surprisingly formative to me, but it was All That Jazz with Roy Schneider. And the part that I'm very frustrated about now as an adult is I can't find it to watch anywhere. And I just want to watch it again because it was such an important movie to me as a kid. Like, to me, it was the first movie that I saw that like made me cry for the character. Like, it was the first movie that really made me emote. You know, like, yeah, sure, Lion King, I don't care, whatever. But like All That Jazz, that got me. And
it is on Tubi if you can deal with commercials or you have an app.
I can't. It fills me with rage.
Do you not have a DVD player? Because I have it on DVD.
I might have a Blu-ray somewhere, but yeah, no, I don't have a DVD player anymore.
You're standing in your own way here, Ginger Snaps.
I
just
know.
saying. Yes.
Yeah, because I think I have it on DVD, but continue.
Well, meanwhile, I can tell you later about the... Okay, I am going to bring this up because it is not an adaptation, but you need to know it exists. I am one of like 3 people on the planet that is familiar with the movie musical that is... oh, it just fell out of my head. Balls, come on. It's called The First Nudie Musical. And it was from the 70s. It has Shirley from Laverne and Shirley in it. She stays clothed. But it's literally about a guy who inherits his dad's movie production company, but isn't making any money. So he starts making porn. And so now he just makes porn movies. But then he decides he wants to make a classy porn. And so they're going to do a musical porn. And so the whole movie is about them making a musical porn. And it has like epic important songs like Lesbian Butch Dyke. And there's a scene with a bunch of giant dancing dildos. And like, it's gold. It is gold. And very few people are even aware of its existence. And that I do own on Blu-ray.
So All That Jazz is essentially a jukebox musical as well, because it's one of those where all of these songs are from other places.
But it like tells like the story of Fosse. Yeah. And like I was never a kid who was particularly into dance. And that really made me feel it and really got me into it. And like, I feel like was the first movie where I really understood what it was like to be like pained over creating your art and the way you do it.
That's burlesque right there.
Yeah. Seriously. And like, and it was kind of heavy and kind of serious in parts too. But like, I joke around that like, when people are like, why are you like this? I'm like, because I watched All That Jazz at a very young age. But like, I just feel like there's a lot of stuff in it that was really impactful to me as a young person.
Do you remember, can you name a specific scene or sequence that
Oh
lives in your
gosh.
brain?
I honestly, it's been so long since I've seen it, but to me, like, I think the parts that stuck with me was the glam of it and the fact that despite it looked so shiny and glamorous and fun and all of the stuff that they were putting out on stage, behind the scenes and backstage, it was so much work and so difficult and such a thing that you were so thoroughly invested in. And so, as an adult, those are the parts that stuck with me because I haven't been able to watch it again in so long. So for me, I just have like snippets of it, or it's like snippets of like Roy Scheider on a dark stage in the spotlight at a piano, like things like that.
We're gonna need a bigger stage.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, the work of all that jazz, I think even sort of the exposing and that sort of making it gritty and allowing some, pathos in what is essentially a musical comedy setting for a lot of these things. I mean, the song that all that jazz is from a musical comedy.
Yeah.
And I mean, it also has no business like show business, and there'll be some changes made. Like some of these are like core like musical theater materials. It's been a minute since it was on stage too. That I wonder if that would
Yeah.
how that would work these days because it's a period piece because it's a memoir as well.
Well, and I feel like
Yeah.
honestly, behind the scenes, it had to be like 90% fueled by cocaine. That is certainly how it comes across.
This
A lot
is
of it.
what 1980
I don't remember.
1979
Yeah, I was
1979
gonna
yeah
say
so
it seems like late 70s to me, just based on the shirts I remember Roy Scheider wearing.
yeah 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 if you have Chrome and you want a specific ad blocker, I could you can watch it on Tubi and I can help facilitate that if you'd like.
Okay.
Aw.
All right. Like I
Because
just
I
want to sit
also
there and watch all that jazz and be in my feelings, god damn it.
because I myself have issues with commercials, particularly during musicals,
Yeah.
because that's wrong. That's wrong. And so yeah. Hope you- Very good. Let's move on to your second film, Curly Bright.
Okay, I actually am shifting some things around because 3 out of my 5 are Andrew Lloyd Webbers, and I want to group them together.
We're not
So
judging.
let's. Hey, you know what? My parents
I am
raised me a certain
ecumenical.
way.
I am ecumenical.
Okay, I am going to bring up my second non-Weber then.
Okay.
And that is Spam-A-Lot, of course, based off of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Hmm.
I remember watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail when I was in high school and not understanding it because it is dry British humor and I was a young teenager. But like Spam-A-Lot, okay, I remember getting the like watching clips online and getting the CD of all of the songs before ever seeing it live on stage, and I did see it live on stage. And that I went with my parents. Spamalot came to DC. I'm based in like the DC area, and just that moment, we're sitting in the nosebleeds, and I just remember that moment where You Won't Succeed on Broadway when a woman comes by with like a cart full of hay, and then everyone goes da 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 hey, and my dad fucking hit the ground, and he couldn't like it's so good. But like I used to listen to that soundtrack on the like in my car all the time. I was in a Monty Python burlesque show and I did the Killer Rabbit. um yeah, that was a fun one. The blood down my mouth and everything. I mean, as you do in burlesque, a lot of people
As
do
you
that in
do.
burlesque. Yeah, that's very common. But one of the reasons why I had this in my top 5 specifically was because back in the days of ye olde YouTube and Tumblr, back when I was like, high school/college age, there was a YouTube account called Animated 93 that did, oh, this thing like animated musical, this thing animated. He did Wicked as an animated musical, but like but when he did Spamalot the animated musical, what he did was he took characters out of other cartoons and made them lip sync and like actually splice them into these musical numbers. Like I very much remember that. And I remember very distinctly that for Sir Lancelot, he picked Buster Bunny from Tiny Toons. And that was a moment because I remember I was on DeviantArt and I drew fan art of Buster Bunny wearing that like cod piece and everything and like the big outfit like and from like the his name is Lancelot scene. I'm just like I was a cringe kid. I really was.
You said Tumblr.
I did say Tumblr. I said early YouTube. I said DeviantArt. Okay.
Yeah.
I am that generation. And you know what? Now we're turning that into burlesque. We're turning our childhoods into burlesque for better or for worse.
Yeah.
So what is the adaptation that you're counting as one of your top five? Is it a recording of it?
What I think I may have cheated a little bit because I'm like, oh, the movie is Monty Python Holy Grail. The movie's Monty Python Holy Grail.
But have you now associated Monty Python and the Holy Grail as a film that you enjoy as well? Have you understood the dry British wit now?
I like it now. I like it a lot more now, and I have a lot more appreciation for it now. And
Okay.
then
You are
like
barely
I
squeaking
feel
by
like
on this curly bright.
yes, I know. I was like, that's a movie. That's a movie. We got it. I mean, hey, they didn't really change the plot all that much. They did.
Yes, but they have to adjust things considerably because that movie cannot be done on stage as is. So much of it is visual gags of it being a movie.
There are a lot of it. They like in
Yeah.
Spamalot, they do have like a big foot that comes down. I think they had like a recording of was it like John Cleese like while the foot's coming down, that sort of thing. So yes, maybe I did fudge a little bit with that, but I was like, oh, there's a movie. Oh, here's the musical of that. Actually, you know what? If there was a filmed version of Spamalot, I would definitely go for that because I've only
There
watched
was
that
supposed to be.
slime videos on YouTube.
It's in development hell. The Monty Pythons are
Ah.
not the Monty Pythons are not famously a we get together, get along very well group. Uh, they never really have, and some of them have passed. But some of them, yeah, that it was supposed to be done in 2018 with Benedict Cumberbatch,
Mm-mm.
and then it was
What?
supposed to be yes, and then it was supposed to be done. Oh, there was another person that was listed, and now I can't remember. Peter Dinklage, I think, was listed for something. I don't know what role he was supposed to be in, but Cumberbatch was supposed to be King Arthur. He was the Tim Curry role.
He was a Tim Curry role.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
I feel like I could
There's
see that. I mean, and I
good
feel like
matter.
they took stuff from their books as well. Did you ever go through any of their books that were popular, like from the 70s? Like
I
there's a
did
lot of like
not.
sketches and like stories in there that I think show up in little bits and pieces as well.
Yeah,
Oh
I grew up with
man.
Monty Python, but I grew up with Life of Brian, so
Mm.
I had a very a different perspective on Holy Grail because I was like, but it's medieval. I don't understand. What?
We were kind
Why
of
is
like
this?
an all-purpose. My mom was a huge Monty Python fan. Like she was pen pals with John Cleese when she was in high school. And so
What?
they used to do like touring shows. And he gave her backstage passes to one of his shows, and that is why I now own a fully autographed like picture of everyone in their Holy Grail costumes and gear. And one of them did a very interesting, questionable sketch of my mother as well, which is pretty funny. Terry Gilliam, I guess, yeah. Where it's literally just like a foot, an ankle, and a head that is supposed to be my mother. And I think it said, "Sorry, I forgot the arms," is how he signed it.
Oh my God.
Ah,
I love that.
I
Also,
mean,
like
yeah.
Monty Python in general, very burlesqueable. I mean,
Yes.
oh my
Oh, sure.
goodness. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
at least
I've been
once
in
a week.
multiple Monty Python burlesque shows.
Yeah. Like the scene, like, I don't remember which movie it was now, maybe, but the one where they're panning across the forest and it has like all these women in bikinis laying in the forest. And they just keep panning across sexy women in bikinis, and then it gets to John Cleese in a bikini, and he just goes, "And now for something completely
different.
Yeah, and that goes through my head at least once a week.
Yeah. Mone't Ha-Sidi, tell me about your second film.
Lion King. So I don't think I was Disney's target audience when that movie came out because I was 16. But I remember seeing it in screen. I remember the theater doesn't exist anymore on Watt Avenue, and crying my eyes out in the Mufasa scene, which I still cannot watch to this day. And the live action remake, it was even more traumatic. But The Lion King for me also, because I am a Leo, just always resonated with me. And I have 2 Simba tattoos. And those who don't know, I do a Circle of Life burlesque act as Rafiki. When I present baby Simba, I eat his brains because, hello, it is the Circle of Life. But that movie, it's disappointing for it being set in Africa. Of course, like they had to do the stunt casting of celebrity voices. So Jonathan Taylor Thomas being the talking voice for young Simba, but Jason, and I don't know why his last name is escaping me right now.
Weaver,
thank you, being the singing voice for him. And then the same with Matthew Broderick. Then all of a sudden, Simba's voice is very Caucasian as an adult, even though his father was James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the parents were also the parents from Coming to America that I knew, because as an autistic person growing up, my friend was always like, "You're a human, IMDb." Before, like, people had stuff on the internet, it always cracks me up when people were like, "Oh my God, did you know that Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince was Shredder?" And it's like, yeah, I knew that. Like, I always knew that information. This is not new information for me. But The Lion King, like, there are so many emotions in that movie, from the hopefulness when Simba was born to the scariness of the stampede scene to then, like, oh, you have hope again when he meets Timon and Simba or Pumbaa. And then that, the whole montage of Hakuna Matata growing up, those initial furry feelings when you see Nala give Simba that look and "Can you feel the love tonight?" And Scar is so queer coded, and that scene of "Be prepared," which is obviously rooted in also being a little bit Nazi like, because of like the way that all the hyenas are lining up to then follow Scar and all these things. Just like the emotions you feel, and I'm like, I was not the person who was supposed to be like, that was my movie. Like, Lion King is just such a beautiful film. What I will say about the live action version of it, I loved the beginning. I love what they did with the Circle of Life. They did that true to it, seeing all the animals come alive. And then in the musical itself, that scene is breathtaking. And I got to see it on my birthday, being a Leo, in San Francisco for the first time. And then when I went to New York, I got to see it, and Samson gave me tickets. And, because anybody knows, Samson plays Mufasa on Broadway.
What?
One of the worst kept secrets in burlesque.
Yeah.
So I was like, what are you thinking about when you're up there dead on stage? And he's Paul, I'm thinking about the next time I get to eat. And I'm like, wow. But like, The Lion King is just such a beautiful, and like the stage adaptation of it, the way they do the puppetry with the characters on stage, and it's just a beautiful film. And also, for a lot of Disney people, it's like kind of the first Disney Black film for the most part that kind of had that film. And it's also was in the ushering of the new Disney animation, from Little Mermaid, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, like that, and Aladdin, like that whole run of those things. And then they all just, after that, it just kind of went a little bit downhill. But it's just, Lion King to me, was seeing that is, I was 16 in that movie, and I still love it to this day.
I saw that in theaters because I'm just a touch younger than you, so I probably was closer to be, I guess, what the presumed target audience is for that. But my father and my mom, like it was also really resonated with them. They got the Hamlet references before I did, but
Mm.
and I don't know, frankly, a whole lot about is it Kimba, the White Lion?
Oh
That
yeah, I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that also, if in fact Lion King took, we'll say, inspiration from that, then that also took inspiration from Hamlet. And there's only 8 stories in the world. Uh, Fantastic score, well done to Hans Zimmer, well done to Elton John and Tim Rice. What a great set of songs. Voice acting, I absolutely understand what you mean when it comes to, it's white as fuck. Yeah, it is odd that seems to be
Why does Africa sound like Wisconsin?
it's so weird. It's so weird. Um
Yeah,
and
Maura
that was
Kelly
Have to keep
voicing
doing sorry.
the adult Nala, who she's also on One Tree Hill. But like Nala, when she's younger, she's very black.
yes.
But then
Kiki, I think the actress's name is. Yeah.
the thing about Lion King 2 is like when I was watching it during the quarantine, and I might have been on edibles or weed syrup, one of the two. And I'm watching it and I'm seeing all the lionesses after Simba's born chilling back there. And then I start thinking, I was like, well, hold up. If Mufasa is the king and he's siring all these cubs, Nala and Simba are brother and sister.
Oh yeah.
This is the problem with
it's very common throughout
anthropomorphification.
the internet.
But biologically, it also that actually tracks.
Yeah.
I was like
in the wild.
Oh.
This is the problem when we create human bureaucracy for the animal kingdom.
The anthropomorphizing has gone too far.
It's we hit this issue. Yeah.
And then I have the Simba tattoo when Rafiki puts in the tree. He's all Simba.
Mm-hmm.
But this is how old my tattoo is. I had to put the DVD on, take a picture with it with my digital camera, upload that picture up to my computer, print the picture out, and bring it to my tattoo artist. Because back then, you could not just go online and find that image.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how old my Lion King tattoo is. Because I'm old.
Who here likes the sequel?
I know that it exists.
I know that it exists. And that's about as far as
it's Romeo and Juliet. They went with the Shakespeare route. So Lion King was Hamlet. Lion King 2 Simba's Pride. They took Kovu from Scar's clan and they took Kiara from Simba's clan and they did a whole Romeo and Juliet thing. And I actually really love the music. Rafiki has his own song called Inyupandi, and I love it. I also have their love song with Kiara, and the Kiara and Kovu. Their song was "Love Will Find a Way," and I actually have used that to audition for shows before. I guess I'm just in that age where I'm just like, oh, there was a musical, and now there's a sequel to the musical. We need to watch it.
But Scar's gay. And that's another thing too. In watching it, I was like, in addition to the lands being decimated from the hyenas taking over and the hunting, there are no cubs being born. Why? Because Scar is gay and he's not having sex with any of those lionesses. So it really bothers me in the musical adaptation where they kind of switch it, that he's now going to try to flirt with Nala, which is weird because then technically you're kind of her uncle. But then in the live, in the Mufasa, which was better than the live action Lion King, Mufasa film, where it turns out that Scar is upset that Sarabi chose Mufasa over him, which I'm like, but Scar is gay.
Well, I will say that I am a proponent of the faggy bisexual, so I enjoy the possibilities. And again, this is what happens when you anthropomorphize.
Maybe Scar paid for a surrogate. We don't know.
What kind of legal tender is happening over there?
He understood he had responsibilities as a royal. He had to propagate.
No.
He wouldn't be the first one,
Dude, seriously, there are so many queer people that propagated when their ancestry deemed it so.
Exactly. He just got himself some motivational juice and
I don't want to
love
hear
that
about
night.
Scar's juice. We've crossed a line.
Oh, that was your limit. That was your limit. Ah,
Oh my God.
ah. I think you are the only, correct me if I'm wrong, Ginger or Curly, that is the only Disney on the list for
I
yeah.
don't have any Disney on the list.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll use this opportunity to then forward the question is did either of you also grow up with a formative Disney? Not on your list. This is a bonus, but did you recall a Disney experience growing up?
Oh yeah. Oh, very much so. You were talking about like the VHS and the clamshells. No,
Yeah.
that was every single Disney movie in my parents' house. I was super, super into it. But the thing is, my parents also bought all of the sequels, even some of the questionable ones. Like I mean, I liked Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, but all of the different movies that came out of Beauty and the Beast. The
The
Christmas
Enchanted
special,
Christmas.
the one with Tim Curry. I mean,
As a pipe organ, right?
as a pipe organ. I
Yeah.
mean, he rocked it. He
It was
absolutely
basically
did.
Hexus from last
He
Ready
was. He
for it.
he
Yeah.
went full
Yeah.
Hexus
It was the
in
full
that,
Hex.
but also like my parents getting the VHS for like Sebastian's Party Gras Jamboree and stuff like that, where you actually have Sam Wright on stage singing with his Sebastian voice to a
Oh,
live audience, and me being like, so I like associated Sebastian like whenever I saw Sam Wright singing up on stage. Man, it killed me when he passed. I was like, no. No, because like I remember watching him just as himself performing,
Mhm.
like performing as like Sebastian, but he's not animated over. Well, there are some scenes with actual like Sebastian Crab in it, but it's him live on stage, and it's got like the sing along, follow the bouncing Mickey ears to like everything he's
mm.
singing. He did the limbo rock. Like
Uh-huh.
he does. It's all of that. So yeah, I grew up with
I think he does
a
hot,
lot
hot,
of
hot
that.
too.
Yes, me mind on fire. He went full in. He went full in, and I'm like, yes, yes, that was my childhood. I loved it so so much. And then I found out he was part of like the actual like stage production of the Lion King. I think he was, and I was like, man, I never got to see that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I never got to see that. That's sad.
I do like that is always fun when you see the Disney folks in different elements. Like, because what Susan Egan, I think, was the Broadway Belle, but she's also Megara from Hercules. Like, I love like the like it's like a troupe or like
Hmm.
a company, and I appreciate that.
Well, and
And
seeing it the other way too, like they had Lea Salonga. What Disney character did she do? But I knew she was in a
Mulan
Disney
he was
movie.
and
Mulan
Jasmine,
Yeah,
and the voice
okay.
of and the singing voice of Jasmine. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that was it. Okay.
Filipino
Yeah.
queen. We love Lea Salonga.
Because I grew up on like Miss Saigon, so to me, I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I meant too. Also, when we talked about Annie, is like the pedigree,
Yeah.
and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't. All of the pieces are there, but the adaptation just doesn't fit it somehow. Um,
Lea
but
Salonga is in the new what was it, DreamWorks movie, I think, or is it DreamWorks? The new movie that's coming out that's like 3D animated, but it's like based in the Philippines. I think it's called
Oh,
Forgotten Island.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, Lea Salonga plays the Manananggal,
very nice.
which is like a character in Filipino like monster lore. I'm so glad that she's still singing and she's still
Yes.
doing her thing. She
Oh yeah,
sings in Centaur World. Lea Salonga has a spot in Centaur World.
she was on Broadway last season, I think. She was on
Oh,
that with Bernadette Peters. Once again, keep bringing up Bernadette. They did
another icon.
a review. Yeah, Ginger Snaps. I believe you are on tap for your second film.
All right, we have to talk about the Rick Moranis Little Shop of Horrors because that was
oh,
like
Yay!
50% of my personality as a child. I think the thing I was the most obsessed with, like now in retrospect, it should not be surprising that I am a burlesque performer because I was obsessed with the doo-wop girls. And I still like the part that's stuck in my brain so hardcore is when they're kind of zooming in and they're in a dark alley, so you can't see their faces and you just hear them singing. I think it's the beginning of supper time or something. But yeah, they're just
Come
moving
on,
and
come
singing.
on.
Sheena
Yeah, and you just
Arnold
see little
and
reflections off the sequins of their dresses coming out of the alley, and I was obsessed. And so then I figured out there was that one actress who was one of the doo-wop girls who was like, she was in Martin, and she was in like fucking everything. She did everything. Her name's,
what?
I forget her name. I used to know it.
It's Sheena Arnold and why? Oh my God, stoner brain.
I think she was Gina and Martin, but
Tisha Campbell.
Tisha Campbell.
yes,
That's
yes.
right.
And so I was like,
Tisha Campbell,
obsessively
Sheena Arnold,
following
and
her
Michelle Wheat.
everywhere.
Yes.
But yeah, that movie is like such a big part of my personality. I know all the songs backwards, forwards, upside down. Just like forever permanently obsessed.
So this came up. So Little Shop came up on the list for our last session, and we had a discussion about the ending, and I want to hear your thoughts about why you feel the ending does or does not work when it is when it deviates so much from the stage show.
I mean, I get it. It's the movie. You're trying to leave things a little more positively. But I appreciated that they at least left, like, the tiny plant showing up in the garden. So we still have that, oh no, motherfucker, shit ain't done. And so, like, I appreciated that. Like, they still got their little, like, somewhere that's green, blah, blah, blah. Also, can we talk about how Audrey
Blah,
is this,
blah,
like,
blah.
ridiculous, like, little tiny waif of a woman with her tits pushed up to her chin, talking like she's barely got any voice. And then when she sings, she is like 95% diaphragm. I don't understand how that noises came out of her. It was amazing. Like such a ballsy voice with such a delightfully, ridiculously uber girly acting persona.
That's just Ellen Green. That's just what she sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, well, it was amazing to me because I was like, I feel like that was probably one of the first times too when I like heard a woman really singing with some like oomph to her voice and not just being super feminine. Yeah. But like still being the super femme character with all of that oomph behind it.
It is. I find that to be one of the most successful musical adaptations. It is committed. It is confident. It knows what it's doing. It stunt casts correctly.
Mm-hmm.
We would look now at Rick Moranis as a potential stunt cast retroactively, but he makes perfect sense in that movie.
Yeah.
I had a crush on him too.
Yeah. How could you not? Like,
yeah.
Very sweet. Yeah. Do you have a favorite, in addition to those gloves coming out of the ether, do you have another favorite sequence from that film?
Oh, man. I really love the whole dentist sequence, of course. It's just such a fun, campy, ridiculous song. And I love his whole little, oh, mama, when he opens the door to the organ sound and there's that ridiculous shrine in there. It's just like everything about it is absolutely delightful.
Wasn't that Steve Martin?
Yes, it was Steve Martin, yeah.
I remember. I'm like, yeah, I think it was.
Well, and I feel like he was 5 minutes from it being too much. You know, he was so close to over the top with that character without quite hitting it, and it just made it work that much more. I mean, honestly, the whole movie was like that. It was like, how much of a stereotype can we play our characters without going too far? And I feel like that's just a big part of what works so well in it.
Yeah, everyone's a Muppet, basically.
Yes, yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah. And it is, as I understand it, the only original song to feature, I think it was the first to feature swearing, is Big Green Mother from Outer Space.
Nice.
It was nominated for an Oscar. And it was the first one, and I think they had to decide how they were going to air it for the broadcast. Yeah. But I did see I've not seen a Broadway level performance of Little Shop. I've seen regional. And regional, again, that is a musical that is beloved because you can tell because it's done with love.
Yeah.
And we also talked in the last session about the outsider allegory of Little Shop. It's Faust, basically. Again, it's another adaptation of an older storyline of like, be careful what you wish for kind of situation. Sell your soul to the devil, and guess what? The devil's going to collect. um, and how it lends itself still to outsiders, and that's why it has POC casts, why it has um, trans casts and cast members frequently show up in it, is because it does lend itself so nicely to that, because
Yeah.
it is already in like that urban jungle kind of setting. So I dig it. Either of you, Monet or Curly, have any little shop memories?
I had a friend that I worked with at Chuck E. Cheese who actually did acting in high school. He went on to work and play Prince Charming at Disneyland and work in New York. But his high school production, he was Seymour.
Nice.
And I loved it because his little Audrey 2 plant that he had the puppet with was just fantastically made. It was just such a great thing to see him do that. And I do love Little Shop of Horrors. Like I remember seeing that on HBO growing up. And I think during quarantine, I even took a picture of myself as Seymour because I had like a little Audrey 2 plant that was a decoration in my salon suite. So
Oh yeah, I've
fun about
seen
that
those.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a fun little film. And that's the first time I saw Tanisha Arnold and
Tisha Campbell.
Trisha Campbell. Yeah, my brain right
Yeah.
now. In that movie, and I remember then I saw them in Martin. I'm like, oh, they were in Little Shop of Horrors. It's just such a great,
Well, we actually got
film.
like decent body representation in there as well. You know, it wasn't
Yes.
just like here's three skinny girls all singing. It's like no, here's like three women with very different real human bodies.
Yes.
And it's not
Dangin'.
it's not part of a plot line. That's just what they look like.
Yeah.
I
Such a
saw
great.
I saw the movie before I actually saw it live on stage. And so when I went to see a college production when I was up at Durham, and I was waiting for Mean Green Mother to come up
Yeah.
on the stage production, and then I'm just like, oh,
No. Yeah. That's what makes movies special too. Although anyone who watches Grease is like, where are all the good songs? So I
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jen Ponton,
And I'm Lillian Bustle,
and we're the hosts of All the Fucks.
a podcast about vulnerability.
But it's more than just that. It's nostalgia.
It's unrequited crushes.
It's the mortifying moments that make you want to crawl back inside your own belly button.
Ooh, and somehow it's sometimes about pelicans.
A pelican allegory, if you will.
Oh, I will.
So if your heart has ever felt like a skinned knee,
Oh, you'll fit right in as one of our fuck buddies.
All the Fucks. A storytelling podcast wherever you listen.
Curly Bright, you're on next for your next selection.
okay, time for top 3 Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Exactly.
I feel like I was raised right. I don't know. My parents
No,
had
you're all
very
good.
specific taste.
I grew up on Joseph and Phantom and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, so this one, I didn't even know that there was a filmed version of this musical until quarantine. You know, where Andrew Lloyd Webber kept like posting musicals like for free to watch throughout like 2020, and I would like get together with a lot of my friends, a lot of whom were across the pond because after I finished let's see, I finished my master's degree in the UK, and then I came back here, and then a few years later I went over to Canada and did 2 years with my for a makeup diploma, and then I came and then that ended in 2019. So 2020 I come here. I have a lot of friends who are international, and we're all stuck. And then Andrew Lloyd Webber starts posting all of these movies like film adaptations of his musicals, and I'm like, we got to get together and we got to watch this together, and we're going to do like a watch party and all that. And one of the ones was by Jeeves. That was based off of like Jeeves and Wooster, very very British. What was that? was it Stephen Fry and I can't remember, but like the By Jeeves is an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical that was based off of that show. And I didn't actually see an actual like stage production of it until the film came out for free on YouTube during quarantine. But my parents got me the CD for it back when I was in middle school, and I would listen to it over and over and over again. And the CD had its own narrative. It wasn't a stage production. It was Wooster talking to Jeeves like, "Oh, let me get this straight, Jeeves. This is a recording of my banjo concert, but my banjo was stolen, so there's no banjo in it. So what are we going to do with this recording?" And then Jeeves like, "Well, sir, maybe you can do an anecdote or two," kind of thing. And the whole CD is the two of them anecdotally recounting the events of the stage play as it goes, with the music spliced in it. And I was like, I love this. And actually, in high school, my best friend JJ and I did a version of Wooster Will Entertain You, which is the first song in the CD, and we sang it up on stage for our school's talent show. But we didn't have a karaoke track for it because it wasn't popular enough for that. So we
It's an
did it all a
obscure show.
cappella. It is an obscure show, but we did it like a cappella, singing entertain you, like the two of us up on stage doing like chorus line kicks and stuff. Very, very cringe high schoolers. I think we might have been in ninth grade or something like that. She's still one of my best. She's like the only person from high school who actually comes to my shows. Yeah, she's the only person because I went to an all-girls Opus Dei Catholic school. So, yeah, no one else from that school would even touch burlesque. But like she, who has been my best friend since eighth grade, actually comes to my shows. So, and so like those are just some really special memories with her. And I remember when I saw that By Jeeves had shown up as like a film adaptation on YouTube, I was like, JJ, we need to get on this right now. And we're watching it. And the stage play, like, of course, it's different from what's on the CD, but they play it as if, like, you are walking through, the camera's walking through an actual, like, small stage, and you're like, oh, okay, here's your ticket. You're here to see Wooster play the banjo. He's a world famous banjoist. Have a seat, kind of thing. And you have a seat, and then like he comes out and he doesn't have a banjo, and then that's what the like it's still anecdotal, but it's done in such a fun way where he is still recounting the events of something previous, but they are plucking community theater actors to portray people from this story. It's a mind fuck, and I love it so much. And that's just something that's been really dear to me since middle school.
Awesome. I don't know the show at all, but I will check it out.
It's very, very British.
That's cool. I like British people generally.
Some of them.
Oh wait,
some of them.
I think it's Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. They were the original Jeeves and Wooster before it got adapted into a musical.
Got it. Because it was a series of books, it looks like. I'm also not familiar with the book series. So that also is very British. Yeah, awesome. There are no hits from the show. I was just I was just curious
But I
if there
love
were
it.
any like
I love all of them. Love's Maze is one of my favorite. Wooster Will Entertain You. What have you got to say, Jeeves? I love all of them, but it is very British and it is very niche. And I thank my parents for getting me that CD. They also got me a CD of music inspired by Starlight Express. And so imagine my surprise when half of the songs that were in that CD were not in the actual musical.
I believe you talk about it on the Music That Made We. I believe you chose a song from Starlight Express, if memory serves. Yes. I don't think either of you have heard of this musical either, have you?
No.
Have not.
Andrew Lloyd Webber has done a lot of obscure shit on top of the classics.
He was very hit or miss. I mean, so was Sondheim, so was Short. Like a lot of like we remember like because their catalog is so bountiful. But
I
if
hope this
you're,
gets people to look it up. I really
I
do.
will explore it. I will explore it. Awesome. Renee, you have a third film for us?
Um, the Rum Tum Tugger is a curious cat. Okay, so my cat story is that my dreaded ex, his bosses at his work, would buy tickets for Music Circus, which is a local community musical thing that happens. And they got tickets to see cats. And I saw it, and the first time I saw Rum Tum Tugger like thrusting and stuff, I was like, oh my God, who is that? Okay, I might be accused of being a furry sometimes just because I have some furry tendencies and I like to wear onesies. But Rum Tum Tugger, and I have him tattooed here on my arm. I was like, oh my God. So I remember like trying to find it so I can watch it at home. And I bought the DVD and I got it at, I think it was Circuit City at Best Buy. And I remember getting it and I put it in the DVD at home, and I used my cats Zero and Rocket, who are longer with us. I tried to make them dance. And my ex came in the house. He's all, how did it get in the house? And I was like, I was obsessed. So then when I saw that version of it, that's recorded from the 1998 version, John Partridge as Rum Tum Tugger, oh my God. He is the best there ever was. Ken Page, who's also the voice of Oogie Boogie. When Cats came back to Sacramento, I did get to meet the late Ken Page. I remember seeing a local production with a friend who had never seen it, and the dancers were not wearing dance belts, so we saw their jellicle balls. And I remember taking my sister to go see it. She went to go see it with me in San Francisco. And I said, hey, by the way, there is a cat orgy in the middle of this situation. And she's like, what? And she's like, you were not kidding. No, I was not kidding. So then this leads us to the cats that came out that brought down the end of the world, aka quarantine pandemic.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
Okay, so I saw that 10 times
Because this is actually Monet's choice. This is the film version that
The
broke down the
movie?
world. Yeah.
They're both my choices, okay? But this movie version, okay? I saw it 10 times in theaters.
Oh my God.
Even when I saw it without edibles, I thought I was on edibles.
I definitely took an edible to see it.
I got the poster from the theater. They showed it at Alamo Draft House, and I was a guest because they're like, I was like, and they're like, what? And I was like, I was so intrigued by how bad it was.
Yeah. Yes. Agree. Yes.
And I bought the DVD. Of course I did. And it had like 10 or plus behind the scene vignettes of everybody who was involved talking about what a great film it was, how honored they were to be a part of it, how it's going to change film, how it's going to change music. And it's funny because they all kind of act like it didn't exist, right? And I'm like, but y'all were so invested. The thing that pissed me off the most actually was the fact that the costuming and makeup of Cats itself was already great.
Yes.
Need to mess with that.
Yes, you have to keep it in that 70s style. It's an important
Nobody
part.
wanted that CGI fur. They also neutered the film. There was no orgy. There was barely no butt wiggling. There was no thrusting. I did not want to fuck Jason Derulo's Rum Tum Tugger.
No.
But I will tell you, fucking Skimbleshanks and his suspenders and his tap dancing and him being, hello, a ginger cat, going back to Annie. He did it for me. That scene was fantastic. I hate Taylor Swift. But that scene of her coming to send it down on that fucking moon, that's the only thing I've ever liked her in. That is such a great entrance as a performer. Herma Cavity, even though it should have been the duet, because we all know it as a duet. The CGI fur on Idris Elba just made him look like a naked black man.
Yes, it was so weird.
It was weird, but like during my movie Mondays with Monet during quarantine, I made everybody, I think when we did watch that version first. And then we went back and watched the 1998 version.
Nice.
And everybody was like, oh, but like
yeah, like if you're gonna do Cats, part of what makes Cats work so well is specifically the stage presentation of it, the choreography with those costumes, the way like it's like this time capsule of this really amazing moment in like 70s and 80s like theatrical choreography. And so when you get rid of that, you're losing such like a big part of what made Cats the musical good.
Yes.
But also, if they had kept the butthole version, I would have been way more on board.
I don't think the butthole version exists. I think that was just a rumor.
Okay, when we did Cats the Ariel show, I demanded everyone have sparkle buttholes because I want the butthole version.
Well, that's a Twilight thing, sparkle buttholes. But as far as I like Mr. Mistopheles' jacket, I wanted to make my own version of it because my name is an M. I hated the way they make him insecure about himself. It was weird that they changed the storyline to be Victoria, him having a crush on Victoria. I will say the way that they made it weaving into McCavity's goal was because everybody was trying to be, which we all know is a suicide cult, right? We get that, right? That you choose to sacrifice yourself to be reborn with a new Jericho life.
Oh yeah.
The way that they wove McCavity's story, where everybody sung this song and he did the kidnapping, actually made more sense. That kind of made it a more cohesive story. And my hands are in quotation marks, air quotations. However, I hate James Corden, but his Buster Jones I did not hate. I don't know what that Jenny Anydots with Rebel Wilson was. That was a bunch of abomination. I was not used to that arrangement of Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser, but I did learn to like it. Everybody prepares you for the CGI and all that stuff, but then in Jenny Anydots number with the mice faces on the human mice faces and the roaches, that was a whole other situation. But as a musical, like I said, I have Rum Tum Tugger tattooed on me. I have seen the musical now 11 times, different times. And Rum Tum Tugger, whoever plays him, you got to thrust. You got to do the thrusting. Yes. And I get so bothered when I see him and he doesn't have that energy because he's like their heartthrob. He's like the cat Elvis. You can't take that away from him. And I was disappointed in Jason Derulo because it's like, I don't understand why with his he didn't have that. And it seemed like Jennifer Hudson was in a different movie than everybody else. She was very serious.
She was so serious. And like, why did they do her dirty like that? They left her sad runny nose and everything. And then they made her face too big on her cat head.
I don't like Memories. Memories is a song that never gets to me. However, in the movie version, her singing it, I felt it. And I did love the song Beautiful Ghost that was added in that movie.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Jennifer Hudson took it super seriously, but then the other people did not, and no one told her.
Ian McKellen went for it. He was drinking out of that fucking bowl. I loved his jacket and his aesthetic look as Gus. Gus's story is so sad, but what makes the musical great is that you get to see him do Growl Tiger's Last Stand as that, and they didn't have him do that in the film. But I loved his coat and his scarf as Gus was a very good aesthetic choice for it. I am a fan of both of them, but like that movie version was just such a trip for anybody. If you were, and I didn't hate it. I was entertained, and it's one of those movies that even when you aren't stoned, you feel like you are.
Yeah, no, I was definitely entertained, but we made a point. We went with my sister-in-law and her husband just loves cats, the animals in general, and is also on the spectrum significantly. And so we are all like, we're going to get real high and go see this movie. And so we go, and like me and my husband and sister-in-law are laughing our asses off, joking about it afterwards. And then my brother-in-law got so mad at us because he just genuinely loved it because he really felt for all the cats, and our high asses are just like dunking on the ridiculousness of it.
Oh my God.
But now like it's like a love to hate thing, you know? Thank you. Sorry, I needed my charger.
I mean, it's an interesting time.
Yeah.
And I just love how everybody who is involved tries to act like they weren't. Like it didn't happen.
Well,
But
and like
happened.
I appreciate the music of it. Like, so I recently decided to get back into doing vocal work, which I hadn't done much of in a while. And like a dumbass, the thing I started with was when my aerial studio, we were doing Cats the Aerial Show. I was like, I want to do a version of Memory, but I'm going to rewrite the lyrics. So now it's titled Memories. And
Oh,
it's an entire song making fun of all of my boobs. I have like 6 boobs, the whole thing, 3 bras. But like, it's a hard song. Like, it is a
hmm
vocally challenging song. It really runs you up and down through that mid range, and it fucking sucks to work on. So, like, I appreciated that a bit more once I took it to my vocal coach, and I was like, what the fuck did I do to myself? But
but
yeah.
when you watch that 1998 version and seeing also the athleticism and the vocal talent of the people who played it in that version, which
Yeah.
essentially are the best people who've ever played those characters. Like, if you want to get, like, that's basically what that version is. But the stamina to do that show is so physical. Like, there's so much, like, Victoria's, even like her solo, it's just everything about it as a performer on many levels, and the original choreography is just so beautiful. And I felt like in the movie they lost a lot of that. And I know
Yeah.
that Rebel Wilson doesn't tap, so that the way they brought the tap back, was having Skimbleshanks do it. And the guy who played Skimbleshanks in the movie version, he at one time had his Achilles heel was broken or something, and he didn't know if he could ever even dance again. And
Man.
the fact when he did that scene, because when he comes out, it's so wonderful. And then we don't know what size the cats are because they're dancing across the train tracks. And then what size are these cats? Well,
Yes. Yeah, it was all over the place.
but his dancing was so good. He brought the tap in the thing. I just wish they didn't neuter it so much. But I still the same like Rocky. There's still that version of it. This is
Yeah.
just a different version of it. You can still watch that other version, but this is just a different version of it. And I did not hate it. And I even bought it on Amazon, and everybody's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's just so bad that I love it."
Well, and it's important to make that distinction between entertaining and good. Not everything has to be good. You can just appreciate the entertainment value.
Exactly. And that's the best way to describe Cats. It's not good, but I'm entertained.
Yep.
Oh, that should be my new tagline. She's not good, but you'll be entertained.
I think, as you pointed out, Memory is such a difficult song. I think Patti LuPone has said some bullshit in her life, but one thing she said that is absolutely true is that Angela Lloyd Webber writes songs as if he hates women. And I think that that's absolutely an apt description, because every song that he has written for a woman to sing, whether it's Angel of Music or As If We Never Said Goodbye, or remember, or Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, just wants them to suffer. He just wants them to
Someone needs to get over Sarah Brightman.
Oh, God.
You mean Blind Mag? From
I'm waiting.
Yeah!
I am waiting for him to die so she can finally get out of that ADA she's definitely in and write that fucking memoir. I'm waiting.
Oh, I want to see that.
There is something there.
Man, Frankie knew we were talking about cats and decided
Oh my goodness.
I don't know where Cletus is. He's just in the room with his sister. So, cats. But I used to try to make my cats dance like them, but I just kept my ex is all, how did it get in the house? My favorite response, I was like,
Came through the walls. Ginger Snaps, you are up.
Oh, I got to go classic here. We've touched on it, but I got to go Rocky Horror. Very formative. I feel like 90% of people in burlesque were influenced by Rocky Horror in some form, right? Like,
yeah.
It's definitely in my tattoo hall of fame with, oh, here's a clue to a future one. But yeah.
It's a route for many.
Yes, yeah. And like, for me, like, I first saw Rocky Horror when I was 13 years old because it was one of my mom's favorite movies. And so she showed it. Don't rub your face on the microphone. So she showed it to me. And as a 13-year-old, I just thought my mom was weird as hell. Cut to 5 years later, I'm in a shadow cast. 6 years later, I'm running my own shadow cast. Like, it was a whole thing. But yeah, like, it was just like people having fun with sexuality and being fluid and not being stuck in gender norms, that was really important and formative. Like, honestly, there are parts of the movie that I think are pretty cheesy and silly, but it's so enjoyable, it's so catchy, and it's you know, it's that like mass market version of like, hey, let's introduce some like gender fuckery to people without them losing their mind over it. And so that was pretty important. And it was also like, I remember just thinking, like, even as like a young teenager, I was like, holy shit, Tim Curry's really fucking hot in this. Like, he looks damn good in those heels and fishnets. And that was not something I'd considered previously, because I grew up in Texas. You know, no one's like fucking with gender norms here, at least at the time, at least not publicly. But so yeah, like that was really important to me, and I think that was a really huge part. Like, honestly, like I credit Rocky Horror as being what got me into performing again and got me into burlesque, because I didn't know what burlesque was. But at the time I was introduced to burlesque, I had already been doing all this Rocky Horror stuff. I'd started getting really involved in dance, and then I was like, oh, hey, oops, I definitely groomed myself into a burlesque performer without realizing it, and Rocky was a big part of that.
Okay.
Yeah, it is probably, I think it is the most burlesque musical that has been filmed. In terms of aesthetic, in terms of what we view, at least on a community theater budget, because that movie was made for $1 million, which is nothing.
Yeah.
It's considerably more in 1975, but it's still nothing. And one of the reasons that I think it resonates with so many of us is its DIY sort of mentality about it. In addition to it being sexually complicated. I have a lot to say about Rocky Horror, and I have a lot to say about it as a socio-political film as well. And in addition to how it relates to our views of sexuality and gender today, I think it still has a lot to say about it because it's a time capsule, because it's a period piece. It's a period piece of a period piece. And so when I see individuals deconstruct it on a level that I find oddly anti-queer while trying to be pro-queer, I think it's bad for art sometimes when we do that. I have a lot to say. In fact, there will be a Patreon exclusive Rocky Horror diatribe that I'll be doing. I'm doing an audio commentary for the film, actually.
Well, I think people love to analyze stuff, and I do think, especially when you're talking about a lot of art, you do also need to like appreciate it in the context of when it was created and what it meant at the time. Like, it doesn't have a chance to update itself. It's a stationary piece at that point, you know? As a movie, it is what it is.
It is Richard O'Brien coming to terms with himself, too.
Yeah.
It is a complicated opus of someone who doesn't have the language then and is really reticent to use the language now.
Yes.
And it's not, I'm very much a pro depiction is not endorsement kind of person.
Yeah.
And there are some, but I am also but then who is it for? And then what are you doing with that information? Because if you're not going to do it properly, then you're not committed to it. Then you're doing it for shock value, or you're doing it for
shock treatment.
Shock treatment!
I'm sorry, I had to.
Yes!
I watched that once, and I even have it on DVD. I hated it, but
it's so bad.
So bad.
Shock treatment.
God.
Actually, you want to talk about movies that I want to see readaptations? I would like them to readaptate.
Yes.
I would like them to redo shock treatment on a proper level. So I could keep on going, but I'm going to step back. I think Rocky Horror has a lot to still provide, and there's a reason that a lot of us resonate with it. So
yeah,
I mean, and don't dream it, be it is such like an important mantra to me. Like that. I mean, and to me that describes burlesque 100%. It's like, dream up what you want to be and put it on stage. You know, like there's really aren't
for an imaginary audience.
Yeah. Why not? Wear a banana on your head, whatever.
I don't. Ginger, did you see the Ratchet Horror Picture Show?
No.
Okay, yeah, what I co-produced with Dahlia, because it's my way of reclaiming, and rest in peace, Dahlia Cash. My reclaiming, because I had a very, very toxic Rocky cast that caused me long-lasting trauma.
Not
And
shocked at all.
I know, and I wanted to reclaim it. And during quarantine, we produced the Ratchet Horror Picture Show, which is an all-black retelling of it.
Nice.
Samson did play our Rocky.
Yeah.
Like I've been hemming and hawing about playing it since she passed. And it's just kind of a thing because like I'm trying to pivot back to virtual anyways. Victor, you saw it, right?
I saw half of it. I came late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it. I think out of everything I've ever done in burlesque, I was very proud of it in the way that it translated. The cast that I feel that we had for that was just a magical cast. And I play Brad, and when I tell people who are familiar with Rocky and I ask them what character you think I would play, I get a little magenta, I get Columbia. The first time I saw it, I always wanted to play Frank. And when I actually got to play him, I did not enjoy it. Brad was actually the character that I resonated with the most.
Frank's a lot. Frank's a lot to do.
Like him. But Brad is so much fun, and he can be fun if you play him right. Yeah. And I got to meet Barry Bostwick. He was in my car before. He was very sweet to me. But Brad is my character, and I'm gonna replay the Ratchet Horror Picture Show at some point. So keep your eyes out for it. But
yeah, I want to see
Rocky,
it for sure.
Yeah, it's Rocky is, I think, special to a lot of us. That's why you should just do a whole the movies that made is Rocky that made us.
Yeah.
It might happen. It might happen. You know what? Maybe for like a special limited and for Halloween. Maybe I'll cook on that. I'll cook on that.
Yay!
Curly, do you have a Rocky connection?
I remember watching Rocky when I was a teenager and not getting it. And then I made friends with a few people like Dorian Bay and stuff like when I was first starting out. And they had friend named Sam Dandwich who like did a lot of shadow casts and stuff. And then I started watching the shadow casts, and I've now watched multiple shadow casts, and I do have some friends who are like disability advocates who are saying that Dr. Scott does not need to be in a wheelchair if he's being portrayed by someone who is, who is ambulatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love it. I also did not know about shock treatment until I heard about it on a podcast called Nostalgia Marcanum, when they talked about it. And I looked it up and I was like, this is going to suck. And then I watched the entire thing in one sitting and went, wait, hang on. And I do feel like Bitchin' in the Kitchen should be turned into a Nerdless act for Date Everything.
I am a shock treatment apologist, so I'm not going to agree that it sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Yeah, I was not expecting to like it as much as I did.
It's very charming. It's very charming.
I'll be honest, I saw it once and it was like, oh, that exists, and then moved on.
It was sabotaged.
Exactly.
It was sabotaged, but yeah.
And then you get little black dress, and I'm like, oh, we found their time warp. Little black dress, you can burlesque to that so easily.
This is part 2 of Richard O'Brien trying to decide what he's got going on inside. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
He went all out in that movie, like his mannerisms and all of that. Like, it's like, oh, when he doesn't have the hunchback, he goes like all out physically.
Yes.
Yeah, didn't you see him in
went all out physically.
Man was in a garbage can.
I mean, he was a little like, but yeah, I do love me some Rocky Horror, but I feel like I got introduced to it when I wasn't ready for it, and it took me some time to warm up to it, and that was only because I had a lot of friends who perform Rocky Horror. Mm-hmm. And then I started to get into it, and now I'm super into it. It just took a while.
I have a feeling I know the answer to this, but what is your 4th film?
It's Joseph.
You're saving. Does that mean you're switching out, or you're saving it? You're saving it.
No, I'm saving.
Okay. because
I'm
I know
saving.
I know Curly.
Yes, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, specifically the 1999 film adaptation with Donny
With
Osmond.
Donny
Okay, well,
Osmond.
Donny Osmond, what was it like? He did it live as well, a lot. Now that he's older, he plays the Pharaoh. Yes. I feel like Donny Osmond as Joseph was kind of a sexual awakening for me because I was watching him like in Close Every Door to Me specifically, and I'm watching him, I'm just like, oh, twinky, effeminate man with the long hair and the hat.
He was
um,
45. There's no Twinkie at that. No,
but I was, hey, you know what? He kind of looked it at the time, all right? But
it's all good.
I
It's all good.
absolutely love that. I ended up like listening to more of Donny Osmond's like actual music after watching.
It was a good time for him. He had Mulan and then that. Yeah,
Oh my
that's a good time.
gosh.
Yeah, I like his song Soldier of Love. I'm super into that. But like my parents would like stock up on all of these VHSs, and I remember getting Joseph and like watching it, and as a kid being like, how did they turn that school auditorium into that big ass stage? How'd they do that? And then I also love like the end credits where you can see all the teachers that are kind of lining the walls are actually the cast and all of that. And like also seeing how the like how they were able to mix so many genres into it, like go Joseph, you know what this, and like I was like watching that going, oh my God, like I was so into it. And I remember the first time I actually saw a high school production of it, and yo, the guy who played Pharaoh, he did not need to thrust as much as he did for a teenage boy. But he was like, hey, Joseph, like, and I could see the belt moving up and down. And I'm like,
Oh.
this is a high school production? This is a nah, fair, but yo, that Pharaoh scene, like, they they went full Rum Tum Tugger, should I say, for that. They did. Like, oh man, like I definitely like I wanted to watch it like live, not just in a high school setting, but I was young and I didn't know how to like get me to any of those.
Mhm.
I'm just happy that Donny Osmond is still kicking and still doing Joseph. Well, now he's doing Pharaoh, but like I'm so glad that it's become such a big thing for him that he just keeps falling back into it.
Listen, it is very typecasting is job security.
Mhm.
Do what you can. I
Yeah,
grew
like
up
you really want work, be a character actor.
basically, yes. All I've wanted to be was Elsa Lanchester. That's all I ever wanted. Um, Joseph, I grew up with I believe, original London, and then the Laurie Beachman as the narrator, cast recordings of Joseph. It is a complicated musical, especially now knowing what's going on in that area of the world. And also the difficulty that we culturally seem to have with knowing what the biblical Israel is versus what is now known as Israel. So it's a super, and it's also, a bunch of white people writing about brown people again, frankly. So it is a fascinating microcosm, but it also has fabulous music. It is a incredibly touching and joyful and devastating musical at times, from Close Every Door to Those Canaan Days to my favorite song, which is Pharaoh Story. It's my favorite song from that show. Um, so yeah, I don't know if it will ever have another renaissance, but it was a
I
huge,
mean,
huge.
Jesus Christ Superstar is making the rounds again.
It is, but I don't know why we can divorce that quite so much from Jerusalem and Palestine. I'm not sure why we can, but we do. There's a little bit more going on in Canaan and Egypt in Joseph, but evidently there is in theory another other adaptation in the works. That's been another one that's been talked about for quite some time.
I did
Uh,
not know about that.
Indeed. Uh,
They
yeah,
gonna get Donny Osmond?
I would be surprised, and I have a feeling they probably should diversify their cast if they're gonna actually go ahead.
Fair
But we'll
enough.
see.
That is, you know
We'll
what? That is
see.
fair enough.
We will. Do you have in addition to Donnie, is there a specific segment within the film's recording that you?
Oh, the disco, the disco scene, like you go right from the you go right from the butler and the baker, and then you go straight into go, go, Joe, go, go. And I'm like, huh? And then like the lights and the craziness. You know what? Andrew Lloyd Webber is known for his spectacle. He is
Yes.
very much known for his spectacle, and he does not half-ass it. He goes full ass into the disco. And like as a kid, watching that on VHS as a starry-eyed kid, and like bringing the tape to my middle school teacher, being like, "Can we watch this in music class instead?" You know, I absolutely like. I don't know. Maybe if I watched it today as someone in their mid 30s, it would have a different effect on me. But as a kid with the VHS and how it was formative for how much I love musicals
Hmm.
and how much it impacted me and how much I remember of it from then, I don't know. I might have a different feel nowadays. I don't know. I just remember how amazing it was when I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Also, like a lot of these things are our first times we hear about a lot of content. It's a lot of times that we first hear about places, or and that's one reason that I am extra hard on contemporary media being more accurate. And when it comes to representation, because it's so many, like I know not everything's a documentary, but media is powerful. It's how we view things for the rest of their lives. And everything we see is sort of compounding that. So I feel that it's important to acknowledge our first times seeing things because that's what we had. That's what we had. So that's all I have to say about it. Baudet, do you have your next one for us?
Okay, so mine is a little unknown. It's directed by Sidney Poitier. It is called Fast Forward. It is about 8 plucky teenagers from Sandusky, Ohio, who go to the Big Bad Apple to compete in the showdown to get signed by a talent agency and get out of Sandusky, Ohio. Now, this movie I grew up with on HBO. A lot of people, like I said, don't know it exists. It has a Michael DiLorenzo. If you know him, he was on New York Undercover. But prior to that, he actually did a lot of ballet, and he was in some of a pop stars who I won't say videos. If you saw his face, you would know who he is. It is so 80s, and but the dance sequences are some of the best that I feel that I've ever seen put on screen. You can tell that the performers in it were very trained in different disciplines, from tap to ballet to jazz. Um, I have it on VHS and DVD, and I did buy it. It's on Amazon. And it's just one of those films, like I've been watching it lately to kind of get inspiration for one of my acts. And it's hard if you haven't seen it, and I suggest anybody who's listening to this and everybody who's in here, watch Fast Forward. It is such like the dancing in it is fantastic. And you know, the storyline is like you feel for these kids. It's like, oh my God. And it's funny because like they get there, they're only prepared to stay in New York for like a few days, but it comes into a few weeks. And of course, they're able to find an apartment and furnish the apartment with like rock star posters too. And then they have to try to busk in order to make money. But then they come across like the more street dancers who are like, you can't be dancing on our territory. And then so there's a dance off in the club. And it's so funny because they find out that because of where they are in Sandusky, Ohio, that they are lacking in knowing any of the current styles because everything by the time they see it is already out of style. So then they got to go to the clubs to get inspiration and see what are the new dances so they can come back and be, great, and then try to compete in the showdown against all these other acts, with their singing and their dancing. And when you watch it too, you just got to suspend belief that they're supposed to be high schoolers because, you know, they look very mature, which in real life back in the day, people did look more mature in high school. It's not really like still a thing that was only on screen. But if I looked at my sister's yearbook and she was class of 89, they look like grown ass people. Like the styling and everything.
It was those
But
mom jeans.
yes. So just like Fast Forward is such a great film, and I wanted to spotlight it because I feel like far too many people haven't seen it. And I'm probably, you know, I'm going to put it on the background now. While we've been recording this, Midsummer was playing, which
Naturally.
we all know is my favorite rom-com. But yeah, Fast Forward is great, and I suggest y'all watch that.
Writing that down.
It is so they're going to a dance competition, right?
Well, it's a talent competition. So basically, all the people who perform at the showcase have an opportunity to be signed by this talent agency, which then can put you in the famous stratosphere.
I see. So their talent happens to be dance, but it is
open to like bands. There's bands that are also competing and all that stuff, but they dance and they sing and they write their songs, and they show in the montage at the beginning of them getting ready that they paid like the local, like their high school band to record their background music for their songs when the band teacher leaves the room. And then one of them is proficient in sewing, so they're the one who's doing their costuming for their acts, and it's just a thing.
That's burlesque right there.
It is. And like their parents are like, oh my God, like one of them's like, what are you doing? Like, where is our child? You know, because they went from Sandusky, Ohio to the Big Apple of New York. And the great thing about it too is like it shows like 80s New York too, like the old gritty New York, you know, where like it's not all sanitized as we see now. Like yes. And then like authentic like punk rockers that they're like, oh my God, look at their hair. Like it's just such a fabulous film. And it came out in 1985, and I watched it since then. Like it's just so good. Like back in the day when HBO had more variety, that's where I first saw Little Shop of Horrors was on HBO. HBO used to, well, actually it was on TV, not technically on TV, but the cable company was on TV. That's the name of it, was where I saw Annie and stuff. Like going through, God, I feel so old right now. That stuff, but like it is a movie, and I had to buy it in this 8 DVD pack that still has girls that just want to have fun and like others 80s movies like in it too, because it's hard to find. And then finally, because I went through quarantine without streaming. I watched everything on DVD.
Damn, that is commitment.
I didn't get it on streaming until after quarantine. Like that was a whole thing. So now I'm like, oh my God, it's on Amazon. So now I can watch it on Amazon. But it's a fun little film.
And all of the songs are in universe. They're not, not, okay.
Yes. Idea Garrett, who used to be a background singer for that pop star that I won't say, also did the songs actually. And I did buy the soundtrack on CD. Too, because I'm that much of a nerd. Karen Coppins is in it. She was in Once Bitten with Jim Carrey. If you've ever seen that movie, where he shows off his, she had the beautiful gap. Jim Carrey's dance moves in that movie too, like from that dance scene. But in this movie, she oddly doesn't dance, which I'm like, well, she could have danced in this one. It's got some faces that you may recognize, but most people wouldn't recognize them. But it's just, and then like the guys are dancing and they have the leotards and the dance belts, and it's just, and the diversity of their name is the Adventurous 8. There's a diverse, like there's one of everybody, kind of sort of, but more black and brown than anything. And that's what's also beautiful watching this movie growing up, is that there's a lot of people it's like that I felt like, oh my God, they look like somebody that I would know because they look realistic. So yeah.
Also, I like that it I don't necessarily think of like inner city kid in Sandusky, Ohio, but I appreciate the the element of it not being quite so, you know, I don't know, Passaic, New Jersey, so they have to that they want to be the big stars. I'm Viktor Devonne.
I'm Petra Fried.
And this is Tonight
On Murder, She Wrote. Since
He
then.
went into his office, found a feminine pink, which they mentioned multiple times,
Yeah, they really
draft
stress
package.
that, don't they? Yeah. And he picks it up,
Envelope.
and it's a bomb!
It's a bomb.
That's my best Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, well. I mean,
Look at the
we don't
glee at which
see-
he's opening this package.
I know.
If
And
he
that's
only
like
knew.
dynamite explosion. That's not
No.
like a shrapnel thing. That's not
No.
like a pipe bomb. That is dynamite.
That would be messy in that room.
Pink mist.
Ugh.
Yes.
Ugh. Ugh.
Sorry. Nemi reference.
Very
There we go.
effective.
This is Viktor Devonne,
And this is Petra Fried.
and this is Tonight,
On Murder, She Wrote.
wherever you get your podcasts. Excellent. Ginger Snaps, what is your next one?
All right, I gotta put the Chihuahua down for this. Hold on.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm pet sitting this little dog named Iggy Pop.
Yo.
Hello.
But this is a big one for me.
Oh.
It's Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Ah.
And I think, like, to me, this was... I feel like it gets compared to Rocky Horror a lot, and I'm honestly a little bothered by the comparison because I feel like it is much better than Rocky Horror. Not necessarily more entertaining. Rocky Horror is very entertaining, but Hedwig, I feel like, is a better story rooted in reality. And the characters are just so much more developed. They're not just stereotypes. There's, a lot more going on with it. It's an excellent story with excellent music. They did such a great job doing like the whole rock opera thing, and amazing wigs and makeup. This definitely for me was my first introduction to glitter lips. And I remember deciding I was going to do glitter lips for a New Year's party within a year or two of that movie coming out. And it was like watching one of those videos where they try to talk to you about how an STD spreads. Because I would kiss somebody and they would get glitter on them. And then that person would kiss someone else and they would get glitter. And by the end of this party, everyone was glittered. So that was deeply entertaining to me. But like, yeah, it has such great music in it too. There are so many excellent songs in this. And it's almost entirely original work. I just have nothing but great things to say about it. It was just such a good movie. And I didn't come across it intentionally, I would say. I was working at my university's theater, one of our theaters. And we would show like art house movies and stuff like twice a month. And I saw it originally, or I heard it because I was working in the theater when somebody was building it up and then screening it back. And then I heard it a few more times when we would have audiences come in to see it. So finally, one of them, I was like, all right, I'm not busy. I'm going to actually go and watch it. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. It's everything. It's important. I'm here for it. So, and it just had so many great stories in it. Such great characters, excellent music. Like, I'm definitely one of those people where I emote the best through song. And this had those kind of songs that really pulled you into their stories, but were still really catchy and fun. And myself and Kitty Von Quim are going to go see a screening of it in August that John Cameron Mitchell will be here for. So I told Kitty, I was like, girl, let's make our own hairdresses. We're going to do it. The beauty supply won't know what hit them. We're making it.
Oh, yeah. I like Hedwig, too.
I saw Hedwig at the Independent Film Center, hosted by John Cameron Mitchell. So I did get to meet him. He is a sweetheart. He's a very sweet guy. Great show, great plot, great. The filming of those musical numbers are probably some of the best in musical film history.
Yeah.
Some of the best cinematography and styling, and the artwork and animation in that is exquisite.
That's the one where, I have the ones many people have.
Your Children of the Sun and the Moon.
Yeah.
Children of the Earth. What is your favorite sequence or segment from Hedwig?
Oh, that's so hard.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
it's so I would say
What
I feel like it was
resonates?
like one of my favorite songs is always well, I don't know, I go back and forth. Okay, as a sequence, I think Wig in a Box was one of the best, just in
Sure.
the sense of it first being a really fun song, but the way they break down the trailer wall and it turns into a stage, and no matter, and it's still like this kind of country-esque bop, but also super punk rock, and the way it's presented, that was really important. And then Origin of Love, of course, is just such a classically beautiful, wonderful song that is also like such an important part of the story, and that has, you know, that animation we're talking about. And then like Midnight Radio, just like such this like cathartic summation to the film, which I think is really important. And I mean, and I love too how the film goes back and forth between kind of the inner fantasy versus reality, and so you oftentimes don't really know what's real versus what isn't. So like I have my theories on what I think like the ending means, and other people have different ones. You know, we've discussed this a lot, but it's also like if you watch some of like the behind the scenes documentary and stuff like that, it was really interesting to see the ways in which they took the stage production and were able to further develop some of those ideas in the movie, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. Really great work from Stephen Trask on
I
those
fucking
songs.
love Stephen Trask. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. And also, I want to just, speaking of Midnight Radio, Miriam Shore's background vocals in that.
Yes.
I love a background vocal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like some of my, I love it. And the voice, fucking great.
Yeah, I love some good harmonizing, and that is in there. And I think that's part of it too, is they even actually touch on it in the film when he's teaching him about all the different bands, and he does it as like it's like a travel, you know, it's like, oh, here's Boston, here's Florida, here's America, and it's like that's so much of that music is clearly influencing the music in the film and on the stage show as well. Like it's and that's part of what makes it so great, because like those songs, when we talk about them, like I feel like this is something I talk about with my burlesque students a lot, where it's important not just to get a song that resonates with you, but a song that has those strong points in it that are also going to resonate with your audience. And there are certain aspects of that kind of music that people always like, and it helps pull them in. And they brought those same aspects into the music of the musical and film.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I understand your discomfort with it being compared to Rocky Horror, and I understand why it is very frequently gender, sexuality, makeup. Sure. It's a reductive perspective.
Well, it is. And like the thing is, Rocky Horror is like all camp, but Hedwig has a lot of heart to it. It's not, there's camp as well, but the heart is really the backbone of it.
I will argue with you about the heart in Rocky Horror, but now is not the time. Does anybody else have a Hedwig moment before we start our final round?
I did see it locally, and I took a picture with the person who was playing Hedwig. I haven't seen it in a while, but I did enjoy it when I did see it. And the songs, I can understand why you're saying, Ginger, about the heart in it, because like the background story of also how they came into their own and that stuff, like I can totally see that. And now you bring it up reminds me that maybe I need to see it again.
You should.
And you said you have not seen it at all, right, Carly?
I need to look. No, I've heard of it, and I've seen people like post like they were dressing up as characters from it and all that, but I actually know nothing about it. But I do know from what little I've seen on the internet that big makeup, big wigs, big drag, and that's all I know. And I've actually written it down so I can look more into it.
I won't give away.
So brilliantly written.
Yeah, since you've not seen it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it going into it without more information. The only thing I will say is it is not only is it well crafted, well constructed, but it is again an outsider perspective of always just being outside the mainstream when and it really does underscore sort of like white boy mediocrity getting the success.
Oh yeah.
And it's, the story behind Hedwig is a deeply flawed human being, and I live for that shit.
Yeah.
I'm a little afraid about Generation Z finding it,
Oh,
but
it's
I
on
live for that
Prime.
shit.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
It's on Prime.
Uh,
I'm gonna write that down.
it is our final round, everybody. So let's stretch, prepare.
I need a moment. Hang on. Hang on.
Oh, I think we get props.
This dog is ridiculous.
Yeah. Cletus was around earlier, but then he went back to wherever he went to, his bedroom. We had super severe lightning the other day that he came out of the bedroom and came into the living room to be comforted by me because he was scared. I was scared too, but I'm like, he just had this look on his face, and I'm like, oh, baby biscuit. I said, I'm scared too. I am like a cat with a vacuum with lightning, but it was a severe storm, and I've experienced that in Texas. Oh, and the anniversary of experiencing the eclipse with you just
Yes, I still
passed.
have that video saved on my phone.
I was looking at the pictures and I forgot to make the post, but I was like, oh, I remember seeing the eclipse over at Ginger. You know, we had the clouds, but it was beautiful and it was
Yeah, it was
wonderful,
still
and I'll never
cool.
get it. It was really cool.
All right, you ready, Carly?
Yes.
What do we got for us?
The Rum Tum Tugger is a curious cat. This is an angry beaver, Zach, but if I want to turn this into Rum Tum Tugger, I can absolutely turn that into Rum Tum Tugger. I am specifically talking about the 1998 version because, of course, VHS, clamshell. Also because I've never actually seen the CGI movie the full way through.
Okay, well, there you go.
Because I'm so scared. I'm terrified. I don't know if the previous discussion encouraged me or dissuaded me.
It's not
I'm still
for everyone.
A little scared.
It's
I'm
not
still
for
a bit
everyone.
scared.
Oh my gosh.
But
So what about
yeah.
specifically the PBS version? Did you?
So that
Vibe
one
with?
specifically, that was something that my sister and I reenacted with Beanie Babies when we were kids. We had the little cats. We had like a lion with a big mane, and he was our Rum Tum Tugger. We had a little white cat for Victoria. We had like my sister and I got really into it, and we would watch it over and over and over and over again. I think we wore out that VHS. And the thing is, that's the first time I've ever seen a musical with that much acrobatic physicality.
Mhm.
Like, oh my God, these people can sing really well, and they can also do that, like the dance scenes and all that. And I was like, I want to do something like that. I think it's one of the reasons that I got into dancing and got into acrobatics. I became I I trained cheer. I now do circus acrobatics. I do aerials. I do all of that. But like watching that and being like, wait, you can do all of that at the same time? That's insane.
And sing.
So, and sing. And I was just like, huh, like just that was formative for me in becoming a performer. And also the makeup. Now, I'm very clowny, I'm very comedic, but I don't do Ringling Brothers clown. I do Cirque du Soleil clown, and Kat's makeup was huge for me. I remember when we were stuck in quarantine, I started like filming myself like on stream doing looks of the different Cats characters. Like I practiced the Cats makeup. I looked up like behind the scenes videos of how the actors did their makeup because they did their own makeup, but like it was designed for them, but they did it themselves. So I saw how they did the layers like underneath and then the black lining on top. And I watched interviews and all that. I got so into it. And I do feel like if I were to attribute my performance style to anything, it would be like 50-50 Cirque du Soleil and Cats. Like very much so. Like I love like the comedy, but like because they do like they play around with it. They're all like snuggling together and stuff, and there's some playfulness to it. But then they like when they get serious and get really like acty, they really go into it. Like I remember watching it live on stage like several years later. This is like a decade later, and that's the first time I actually saw Growl Tiger. because they don't have that in the
Mhm.
in the 1998 version. I was watching that and I'm like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that, but that's awesome. I also remember that's like I think it was a kind of a small stage in DC when they put on the production of Cats, but the entire intermission, Deuteronomy stayed on stage. He just
Yep.
sat there.
He does
He
that.
just sat there
Yeah.
the entire time during intermission. Is just like fixing his like
Yeah.
arms and stuff, and I'm like, does he get a break?
Yeah.
What? Like, damn. Like I absolutely love it. I read Cats fan fiction on fanfiction.net. And man, they really loved to pair Mistopheles with Rum Tum Tugger. It was like that was the gay ship where Tugger was the dom in the relationship.
I could see it.
It was very Misto slash Tugger and very what was it, Skimbleshanks paired with Jenny Anydots. There was a lot of that as well because I don't know why they were like the two kind of like they were kind of older, kind
Oh
of like
yeah.
they would like have tea together sort of thing, that sort of thing. And there was
I could see Buster Fur with Ginny though. If we were going to go that route, I think that would be it would make more sense.
I can see that too. It's
Audience,
just
write in. Let us know. Are you team?
There was a lot of there was a lot of Monka Strap X Demeter as well. That makes sense. But yes, there was a lot of cat stuff on fanfiction.net. And most of it was Mistopheles paired with Tugger.
I could see it, I guess.
I
mean,
so I was that kind of fan. I was that kind of cringe.
I think I joined a cat's message board. But I will say what I love about the 1998 version, because they do the peaks and the pollicles instead of Girl Tiger's Light Stand. I love the fact that it's humans pretending to be cats, and then the humans pretending to be cats, then pretending to be dogs. Pretending to be cats, pretending to be dogs. Like, that's what makes that part so charming, too.
I needed to clean my ears when I was like, the peak, although people may see as they please, is no British dog, but a heathen Chinese. And I just went, wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Is that...
Yeah, some of it
was that allowed?
Yeah.
When I was little, I was in an after-school theater group where we would, like, write our own shows based on shows that actually existed. Incidentally, my mother was also the director of this group, but we did a show one year that was dogs, which was 100% a ripoff of Cats, just all dogs. And I remember I was Fifi the French Poodle. And we even did, like, our poster. My mom hand-painted our poster so it would look just like the Cats poster, but with dog eyes.
Oh my god! Yes! Oh my god, those cat eyes that just kept showing up in the opening credits, and then it just showed up on the stage, and I was like, oh, yeah! That, like, I got so hyped from that. So good. And then when I watched like a video of like behind the scenes for like live performances, and when I found out that there were actually people like backstage who were hooked up to microphones and doing more of like the extra ensemble singing behind the scenes, I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that would make sense. They would need some filler voices. Those cats are probably having trouble breathing with all of the physical movements sometimes.
Exactly.
Listen, if our pop stars can do it, our cat musical theater artists can as well. In that 98 adaptation, is there a favorite sequence?
Ooh. God, if I say Rum Tum Tugger, that's going to be the easy way. I know. Oh, actually,
I mean, it is. His entrance is like, what?
But like, I really that would have to be like top 3. But that like when you get all the trash parts as the train for Skimbleshanks coming out, like when they're like making the train, like choo choo, like that part's amazing, and also like the like Mistopheles, like when he actually is doing like when he actually lights up, because before that point he doesn't have the light up cat suit. And then you see him with the lights on him, and then he's pulling scarves out, and he's like pulling things out of a hat.
And all the turns that he does, all the turns are amazing.
Oh my God, it's so good. Like, it's hard for me to pick a scene, but I would say those are top 3 for me. I was like, how does he do that?
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, being like a young girl with like a very Catholic upbringing, I'm like, wait, men can move like that?
Mhm.
And they can move very well like that, actually. That was my first experience of seeing men being that, like,
Flamboyant.
that athletic, like, well, yes, but also very like ballet kind of thing. Like,
Mm.
that was insane. But like, there's so, like, back to Cirque du Soleil, there's a lot of that sort of acrobatics and dancing and physicality that you see in Cirque du Soleil performances.
Oh yeah.
So the two of them are very closely entwined for me, and in general, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few. If there's a few burlesque people who are on the circus side of things who have done cats over the years as well. Like, it's if you have that athleticism and it's to be as part of an ensemble like that, I have found that there's a few folks that have stepped their toe into the cats world for
You
regional
have to
or for
be,
touring companies.
God, you have to be a very specific type of human being to be able to do that sort of stuff. I mean, I train dance and acrobatics, like, even to this day. I cannot do that.
No, no.
There's stuff I can do. It's not that.
Obviously, we talked a bit about cats already, but does anybody else have anything else to say about this specific variation?
I have the movie on in the background now.
Ah,
It's the one that, that one. Not
That
the
one.
1998, but the
No,
I might
the-
have
that
to
one.
actually watch it. I might
It's
have
on
to.
Amazon.
Like, I've also seen, like, there were times in the past when Alamo Drafthouse was advertising like a full-on be as loud and obnoxious as you want version of watching cats. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like that might be it. Like, I need like full rowdy, and like maybe get some friends together and watching it and like full riffing, like full like riff tracks, MST3K
Oh yeah,
style.
oh,
I
yeah.
would need MST3K style to go through that, I think.
I think it lends itself. I think it does because one of the reasons that I think that the Cats movie turned out the way that it did is because they are so confident in their
Yeah.
filmmaking. They committed to that fucking movie to the point where I don't know how much fun anyone is having. I think they're so like it's almost like Steiger's like this is a very important piece.
Mhm.
Oh my
It's at that level. And actually, the only ones who seem like they're having fun are Judi Dench and Ian McKellen because they know
Yeah.
because they've done this long enough. They're like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. But like I said,
Ah.
the behind the scenes vignettes where everybody's like, this is so important. Like, it's just so funny to watch. And then the fact that there's so many of them on the DVD version, there's so many. I was like, wow. And I watched every single one of them because
It was in their
I
contract.
do.
You
That's
have
what I
to.
do.
Renee, what is your final selection?
Okay, I was gonna go with Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, but I'm changing.
Okay. But honorable mention to Break Into.
Yes.
Dancing on the ceiling. Come on.
Yes. I'm gonna go with the Who's Tommy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I remember discovering Tommy on Cinemax, and I remember watching it. I think the first time I came across it was around 6th or 7th grade, and I was flipping the channels. I was like, "What is this weird white people shit? Like, what is this?" But I'm like, "I'll watch it," and I kept watching it, and I'm like, "Oh!" And then Tommy was the first DVD I actually bought. I remember going online. It was the first DVD I bought. And I remember having friends over and having them watch it. And a lot of my friends are not Black. And I'm like, you've never seen Tommy? What type of white person are you? I'm very wary about white people who've never seen The Sound of Music.
What?
I know. And Tommy is so incoherent. It's like, what? Like, how did you even come up with this? But having the gap in my teeth, like Sir Elton John, I've been wanting to do a pinball wizard act.
Yes.
And I do have the costume for it. I just need to find the pieces. But it's just so absurd. A lot of the stuff, how it strings together. I love the music part of it, like that opening riff of I'm Free when he breaks through the glass. Like, I love that guitar riff. Even though the subject of the song is horrible, I love the composition of the song, feeling Fiddle About, which
Yeah.
I love the composition of that song, like that whole montage of, you know, Tommy and these bad babysitters, and then when the mom and Margaret is just like, she's fucking, oh my god, she's so stunning and beautiful in that. Jack Nicholson dancing, fucking Tina Turner as the queen. We won't say what type of queen she is, but we know that whole sequence of her and her like shivering and shimmering and the way her body moves. And Roger Daltrey was a attractive man of that time. Like, he had the dick shoulders.
Yeah. Yes.
And stuff, and the hair. I was like, I see it. I see you can get it. But it's just such, and I have the soundtrack on CD as well. Visually and sonically, it's just, growing up, it was something I'd never seen before. And I feel like far too many people don't give Tommy the credit that it should have. Like, that version, like, because I was scrolling through my movies, and like Midsummer was the first thing I ever bought on Amazon Prime, and then the Cats movie is the second. But as I was scrolling, I was like, oh my god, Tommy. Like, I watched it like even a few weeks ago, and I like to watch it, and sometimes while I'm rhinestoning or getting stoned. It's just, on that scale, if you think about it, like on that scale of the movie that was made too, like for this to be translated the way that it is, it's a treasure in my life. And I love Tommy, and I hope to do a Pinball Wizard act. I'm trying to figure out how to make a functional, like, travelable prop of a pinball machine for that scene and his keyboard.
Yes.
But the image of him in those giant boots, oh my god, like, just the visual of that is like, wow. And the fact, I think it was David Bowie that he either talked out of doing that role and took the role himself.
That would make sense.
He talked somebody out of doing that role, and they're like, what? And he took it himself. And it's just so many things about it, even though Eric Clapton is shit now, but even when they go to that scene and it's all the Marilyn Monroe worship and things, and then the song with the girl who falls in love with the rock star who's like Frankenstein coded. Like, it's just so many interesting things about it that, like, none of this makes sense. But I love to listen to it, and I love to watch it. And I feel like far too many people don't watch Tommy. And
it's very trippy. Like, the music is great, and then visually and story-wise, it's so trippy. Like, I actually didn't see it till I was in college, and it was because I was working for, in the city I lived in, I was working for our big performing arts center there. And at this time, Anne Margaret was touring a one-woman show. And so I was running Spotlight for that show. Incidentally, Anne Margaret, very nice, very silly, and toured everywhere with her little dogs and her husband. But as part of her show, she would show clips from the movie. And so, like, every night for a week, I was seeing the clips of all of this and watching Anne Margaret be a goob. She was very, very silly person in a very fun way. And so, yeah, by the time I finished that show, I was like, fuck, I have to go watch this movie. And yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah, I really like it.
And she's like, you know, she's the mom, but she was a sex pot. Like,
yeah.
And the song Champagne is also a great one. Like, my brain was like, oh, I could do Champagne in the Champagne Showers by LMFAO, because that's just how my brain works. And she's wearing that, like, jumpsuit, and she's, like, rolling around, and it's just so, like, it is very burlesque, sexy, like 60 sexy coded, because there is difference between the decades of what's considered sexy. And she very much embodied that. But yeah, Tommy, I remember, I've been watching since the 6th or 7th grade, and first DVD I ever bought, and it's, you know, and it explains, like, kind of the weirdo that I am, because I'm a black girl. I'm a black girl in the ghetto watching fucking Tommy. Like, that's another thing too. It's like, I'm like, but I like it. It's weird. It's like, this is some weird white people shit. But you know what? I can't stop watching it, and I and I love it. So that's why I changed it. But still watch Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo because that shit's fire.
Yes.
That's another one I need to write down.
Tommy, it is. I find it aggressive as a film. I find the editing to be very aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
I find it to be musically discordant. I'm not a Who fan per se.
I'm not a Who fan either. I only like Tommy.
I know, that the usual five that most people know and most people associate with like CSI. But
is this something I need to dose up for?
I mean, you can.
I will leave that up to the others to tell you because I am not an imbiber enough to tell you if that's a safe choice or not. You don't live alone. You know what? Go nuts. Go. You have fun. You don't live alone. I wouldn't recommend it alone. I wouldn't recommend it alone.
Fair enough.
And I'm assuming you mean pot, not like acid or anything. So.
Oh no, I'm not doing acid.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine Tommy on acid. Oh my God, Tommy on acid. Oh my God.
It's already there. You don't need to add to it.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Yeah.
There are certain mushrooms out there that'll make the colors brighter, but
I mean, you do your own due diligence. Trigger warning. It is also deeply about trauma. It is about a young boy who is basically abused throughout his childhood. It's all a lot of metaphor. It's a lot of metaphor. So it's not like we don't see any sexual activity per se, but it is. Townsend was going through some stuff when he was writing that. Ginger Snaps, you get the honor of our final selection.
I'm torn here. I was having a hard time deciding if I was going to go with a chorus line or a cabaret.
Both are heavy hitters.
I know. I think I'm going to have to I think I'm going to have to lean slightly more towards a chorus line because I remember that more from my youth. Okay. Even though to me cabaret hit a little harder as I got older.
Sure.
Just because of from a political perspective
because it's a documentary.
And a perspective as a Jewish person. But a chorus line was like the quintessential 70s musical. And to me, it's so informative of so much other theater and musicals and choreography. It's just it's so iconic. This is the iconic fishnets. This is the iconic tap dancing. This is the iconic, top coat tails. Or top hat and tails. Woo. Like that whole thing. There's just there's so much to it that I feel like it's one of those where the ensemble really shines and is really important, Yeah. So yeah, and I the Tits and Ass song will live in my head for forever. Why was I 7 years old listening to this with my mother? But whatever.
I remember I came across it on HBO too, as well. And Michael Douglas being in it and stuff.
Yes. Well, mine was all my mom. My mom was born and raised in New York City, and so she would go and see a lot of these musicals, do the rush tickets and stuff like that. And so as a kid, whenever we were driving around, we were always listening to musicals. And so that was just such an important formative thing for me.
It sounds like you have a type. You seem to be really into musicals that are very theatrical, and I know that sounds like an obvious statement, but ones that lean into stage work and lean into that kind of thing. Why do you suppose that might be?
I mean, I've personally I've just basically grown up on stage. The stage has always been a really important part of my life. So as a little kid, I was doing musical theater before anything else. I joke that I popped out of the womb with a top hat and cane.
Hello, I'm imagining that scene from Spaceballs now.
Exactly.
Hello, my baby.
In my head, yes, 100%. Yet another thing I imagine at least once a week. But yeah, I've just always been really involved in theater. My mom was always really involved with theater. She taught theater and performed in a lot of community stuff. And then I kind of went more towards music and stayed away from theater for a while, but ended up right back in it. So all of my jobs now, with the exception of teaching aerials, all the rest of my jobs are theater. So I'm either performing or producing, or in my civilian life, I do theatrical wigs and makeup for large scale productions. So like everything is theater. And like to me, that is like the quintessential, the best form of live entertainment you're going to find. Like, first of all, just the fact that it is live. And secondly, these big, giant presentational, theatrical craziness stuff. You know, you've got a bunch of people coming together to create this fantasy world that everybody else gets to take part in, and you all get to have that experience together in the same room. And that's really important. And especially now as we get into this time of AI and people trying to figure out how to cut corners and cut costs and get AI to do everything. Like I used to work in film, makeup and hair, and guess who's getting the fuck AI out of them? Like, you know who isn't? Theater. You're not taking that away from live theater. Like, I love sitting down with other people and then being like, all right, here's the idea, here's the story. And then I get to be like, cool, I want to make shit that looks like this, you know? Like, it's just such this really great type of collaboration where, like, everyone can win.
Was, as I understand it, deeply polarizing, because A Chorus Line is another one of those, like, hold close to the heart musicals for a lot of people.
Yeah.
How do you feel that the translation to film works for it?
God, honestly, it's been so long since I've seen it. I mean, I appreciate that it lets you delve more into the individuals of the ensemble, you know, and I feel like there is, especially for that time, there's a lot of reality to like the backstage life and the life of a dancer trying to make it, and all that kind of stuff is a really huge part of it, because you have people like absolutely busting their asses to be one in a line of 100 people, you know? It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but like I did appreciate that the film lets you get a little bit more of an even closer look into that and appreciate it a little bit more.
Is it a bit cynical of a show, would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, but not like inappropriately so. Like I wouldn't say it's incorrect, you know? I think in some ways you would almost say it's taking things a little too easily. I think it's got some reality in it for sure. But like everyone involved in theater deals with that reality every day and deals with bits of that. But then you find the things and you find the other people that want to work the same way you do and that don't treat it as a competition, but treat it more as a how do we embetter each other and lift each other up and make it into a bigger and a better thing. And that's when it really shines.
Because so much of it is also like about scarcity, and also as well as about like, if I don't get this part, if I have to beat all these other people to what, 8 roles? I think that's what it is. That sort of mentality is permeates the entertainment world considerably.
Yeah, it's a lot of drama. I mean, I feel like in my experiences in the entertainment world, there's very much like when people are in it long enough, they either just lean that much harder into the drama and everyone just blows them off as that's the way they are, or you kind of get past it and you kind of laugh at it as this thing in the past and you realize there's more important stuff to focus on, you know? But like A Chorus Line is about people just starting out, you know? They haven't built a career yet. They're just trying to get their foot in the door.
I've only seen the film. I haven't seen it on stage. Like, how different is it?
I mean, I don't think it's hugely different. I think you just get a lot more, you get a closer view of the characters and a bit more into the characters, but they still make a point to really like, literally just like, we're going to go to a big theater and record on the stage, because that's so much of the story is things that are happening during an audition process and backstage. And like in an audition room.
Ginger? At the beginning of this, and I was waiting till almost the end to see if it played, on YouTube, there is a disco version of Minnie the Moocher.
Yes! I gotta go look it up. Is it actually Cab Calloway singing it?
I think so. Yeah, I just looked up disco Minnie the Moocher. It came up.
Nice.
So if you want to listen, I'm like, oh, I just hear the dun, 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 like, and I'm like, oh my God,
I gotta look this up. I just remember like how excited Cab Calloway's little face looked, and they're like, no.
Yes, there was a 12-inch 1978 disco version.
Oh my God, I just found it.
Wow.
I just wrote it down. Oh my God.
As we wind down, and Chorus Line is sort of that quintessential uh insider industry musical. And as folks in burlesque, we have to, but we also get to be all of ourselves. We hire ourselves, we are our own agents, we are often our own costume makers, we're often our own music editors, we're a lot of those things. Uh, since so much of that show is trying to live up to somebody else's criteria, what do you feel that musical theater, just to close us out, um, what do you get? What do you feel that musical theater has in general, specifically when it has been adapted for screen, because that's our blocking here, has contributed to your own burlesque? Does that make sense? Did I say that correctly?
I think so, yeah. I
Tell me,
mean, to
Ginger,
me,
you're
it's
here.
just it's a hard question because I feel like it's the vast majority of me is created by musical theater, so I don't really know how to like separate that out as far as like the burlesque versus anything else. Like,
You are the burlesque side of you.
yeah, I mean, essentially, I mean, the only difference is like when I come like after a show, I just want to go home, get high, and watch some Star Trek.
But that is
But like,
burlesque. That's us right there.
yeah. Yeah, like I'm not really interested in any after parties, but
Right?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Sure. Since so many of the musical theater stuff that we talked about is documented and it's on the screen and it's, as we watch it and we've learned from it, how do you feel that watching the sort of documented musical theater has inspired your own burlesque? Since you get to do it yourself and it's not anybody else's criteria.
I feel like I'm going back to what I talked about with both Cirque du Soleil and Cats.
Sure.
Yeah, where I don't know, like I watch myself on videos all the time because I'm watching them multiple times whenever I have an act. I will get as soon as I get the video, I'm dissecting it every single time. I feel like I'm watching it kind of with similar criteria. Well, that's unfair, but as when I'm watching the the shows that I love, but that's because that's what I want to eventually get to, or that's
Hmm.
what I want to emulate, or I feel like that's like the goal for me. I feel like that's the sort of performer that I want to be. That's the sort of stage presence that I want to eventually get to. And every single time I watch my own performances, I feel like I am using a critique rubric of what I have watched beforehand and what has influenced me beforehand. Like, I don't know if that's I don't know if it's healthy for me to be comparing myself to hella professionals on on stage slash on screen, but I do feel like it first of all it keeps me humble because I know I'm not that good, but
Depends what you
it
do with
give
that information. Yeah.
but that's something for me to work towards because that's something that I want to be. Really,
Hmm.
maybe not like in those productions specifically, but that's the sort of performer I want to become, and that's the reason that I've been doing this for so long and why I've wanted to perform from a very, very early age. I take all of that media that I've consumed, especially musical theater and like dance and everything, like Burn the Floor. I love that as well. It's because that's what I want to eventually get to. That's what I want to emulate.
Renee, any thoughts?
I mean, I feel like a lot of things, like the movies and stuff, influence a lot of me and my personality, my sense of humor, and some of my stage presence and what I like to put out and what I base it on. I mean, my Titanic act is based on my love of Titanic. I have done like a kind of drag number as Rum Tum Tugger, his song and stuff. And so, I mean, I've always been inspired by a lot of music and things visually, just in general. Those are just my mediums that I've used as escape growing up. So it would make sense that it would be incorporated to what I do in burlesque, which is also like an escape from real life to an extent. So yeah, I would say I was raised on MTV. So that shapes who I am today. And the stuff, I mean, generations now today are different, but I feel like the year that I was born and everything that I was exposed to and was available to me at the time is different. And I still believe in physical media as well. So there's that. And I'm still like, I feel like I'm old fashioned in that way, but yeah, musicals and stuff were always escape. But it's funny, I don't like every musical. Like people are thinking you must love, but I don't love every musical. And there's
Oklahoma's not doing it for you.
Never seen Oklahoma. I've not done Les Mis. Like just certain things, you know. It just depends. Like it has to be something appealing about it, which is why it took me so long to see Cats. But then it's like, oh my God, Cats is totally up my alley. I love Cats, like
Alley Cat
in general.
I will say Les Mis is currently timely because you're dealing with the French Revolution, and that's pretty fucking. I wish we would take some pointers.
Because now we're in cabaret.
Nah. Look, I'm just saying, we also can make guillotines and pull them out in the street.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's Act 3. That's Act 3. Well, I thank you all for sharing time with me and sharing your film picks. I will include in the footnotes the ways that people can keep in touch with your goings on, including your Instagrams and your sites. I have a lot to say about movie musicals, and I've said only a little bit this one. I encourage the folks that are listening to head over to the Patreon behind the dollar wall. It's really just so I don't get flagged for. I'm not looking for Patreon to be my source of income. That would be lovely. You can still surprise me. But I have a couple of full-length audio commentaries coming out for some influential media of my own. And I thank you for being a part of this, folks.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes. All right, everybody. Well, end scene. Mwah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The Movies That Made We is a production of WEBurlesque Podcast Network and Viktor Devonne. All rights are that of me, Viktor Devonne, unless they are of the personal views of the people who spoke, in which case I own final edit, but what they said belongs to them. If you would like to be included in a future episode, please contact weburlesquepodcast at gmail.com or find us at weburlesquepodcast.com. Thank you very, very much. Please follow WEBurlesque and Viktor Devonne on all of the things. You can find information also in the footnotes. And you can go to patreon.com/WeBurlesque, and that would be delightful. Please also follow the guests that we have had today, and keep burlesque alive via clicks. How depressing that that's how we do it. But we do. Goodbye.